by shedding 6 times. What is going on, Horror Gang? Welcome to I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I am your host, Marcus. Please smash that like button or shoot that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated, as well as hit that notification icon to get all the latest content updates to the channel. As you know, if you've been keeping up with the channel, you know what I mean? I started this last week. Every Sunday, we're doing a live stream called Slasher Sundays, where we're just going to shoot straight from the hip, talking about our favorite slasher movies, what we liked about them, and potentially what we might want to see in some of these upcoming movies, such as Halloween Ends, the Chucky TV series, as well as dormant characters such as Freddy, Jason. Candyman came out with a movie last year, but we're going to, delve into that. We're just going to talk about anything horror, Slasher Sunday, anything slasher for Sundays. That's what this stream is about for Sundays. So anybody, you know what I mean? Everybody hit the comment section with your questions, comments, opinions, whatever topics I'm talking about. I have a banner list of, the characters we're going to talk about in the stream, and then we're going to get to it. But before we do that, let's hit the comment section. Got 5 new comments up in here. Salistar Garcia, what's going on, man? Bob Hunt, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, my man? Salistar Garcia, overlooked mothers in horror 1. Rebecca De Mornay and is an alluring, powerful, lethal lady like in the remake of Mother's Day from 2010, as Rebecca De Mornay portrays the deadly Natalie Mother Coffin. I didn't watch that one, so definitely something I'm gonna have to check out. Salistar. Number 2, Annabella Scaria portrays Blair Bartel in an entertaining thriller, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, in which Rebecca De Mornay portrays the evil Miss Mott. Now, I did watch that. That was a really good movie. That's a classic right there, Salistar. Castellar. Sorry if I was mispronouncing your name wrong, buddy. Sorry about that. Number 3, Laura Allen portrays Meg McCoy in the 2014 horror film Clown 4. Dee Wallace portrays Donna Trenton in the 1983 Cujo film. 6, Vera Farmiga portrays Kate Coleman on the 2009 film Orphan 7. Camille Sullivan plays Anne Mersault in the 2020 film Hunter x Hunter. Interesting. I'm not gonna lie, Salistar. Some of these movies I have not been able, to really. I really haven't heard much about them, except for like the clown movies and stuff like that. So I know what you're talking about in that regard. But hey, always open to watching new content that I have not viewed before. So thank you for the comments, and thank you for this list of evil mothers who don't get enough credit. I always say that, in my opinion, the women who are portrayed as, the killers in movies, etc., not never get enough credit. So I'm definitely on board with that. Number 8, Samantha Yar portrays Nola Carveth in the 1970 film The Brood 9. Melissa George portrays Kathy Lutz in the Amityville Horror 2005 remake. I could watch that one. Bob Hunt says, use them tentacles to slice and dice like button. That's right, baby. That's right. Castellar Garcia, number 10. Lori Hegway portrays Karen Tooney in Wicked Little Things 2006. Definitely, man. Hey, man. Like I said, Castellar, thank you for the list, man. No doubt, because there's definitely some movies in here that I've never heard about or anything. So, I mean, I'm definitely after the stream going to hit back the comment section and write down all these, movies that I have not watched and take a gander of them. You know what I mean? Because I'm always down for that. You know what I mean? I love horror movies. So anything that I might have missed, definitely on board for that. Bob Hunt asks, do you think Michael Myers is going to kill Bucky again in Ends? I think it's a possibility. In all honesty, I really like that idea. I think it would definitely make a lot of sense for the radio tower theory. In all honesty, I'm kind of now pushing for that idea, Bob. I hope that, we would kind of get that. That would make a lot of sense. That would make a hell of a lot of sense. I mean, the power goes out. need the radio tower to, get outside frequency outside of Haddonfield. I can't think of any other real solution, like why or other real reason why the radio tower is really significant. I really think that idea you have about, it being, Bucky getting thrown into the the plant, and the radio towers being used, for outside, for outside help. I agree with that. I think that you might be onto something for sure with that. So hopefully that's what we get, or hopefully something close to it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm still a little nervous, but you know, certain things, with the whole teaser trailer being brought up, certain information we've gotten, definitely certain ideas that we've passed to each other and other people like Carrie, Cinema, Craven, the whole community definitely has kind of lightened the mood on my feelings for Halloween Ends, and hopefully we get some of these things that we're talking about in the movie as well. It'd be nice. No, but all right. Before we get into like Michael Myers and all that stuff, because we are going to get into Michael and all that stuff, but I created a banner list here of the characters that I have in the overlay. You know what I mean? So we're going to start off with Chucky. Now, as we all know, with Chucky, he's now got his own TV series. Season 2 will be starting very soon here. We know they did the Child's Play remake, which was god awful. I hope we do not get another sequel to that. Well, I hope we don't get a sequel to that. Shouldn't say another sequel because they only made one remake so far. But if I'm not mistaken, I think I said it last Monday or on last Sunday's stream. The Chucky TV series was a real pleasant surprise. As I said, I did not expect them to unleash Chucky the way they did in the movies on the TV. I thought they were going to water him down, make him edit it for TV, and that's not what we got. And I'm really excited for season 2. But something I was reading about on Screen Rant. Yeah, I was on Screen Rant, and it caught my interest. And it says that season 2 of Chucky could potentially make amends for legacy characters in Child's Play 3, such as Tyler and I had the girl's name too. But the two cadets that were with Andy Barclay, the two main cadets that were like close to the hit with Andy in Child's Play 3, Screen Rant believes that, well, the person who talked about it in this article believes that these are two potential characters that could find their way onto the TV series. And I think that would make a lot of sense, being that, so far in so far in season 1 of Chucky, they took a, deep dive into his, backstory. We got, implements from Child's Play 1 and Child's Play 2. So it would not surprise me if we started to see some things from Child's Play 3, such as, comeback characters be implemented into season 2 of Chucky. I always did wonder, after Child's Play 3 was made, and then obviously we started getting what was it, Seeded Chucky, the Bride of Chucky, and then Seeded Chucky, etc. And then all these other movies that proceeded afterwards. And I always wondered what happened to Tyler, especially because as we know, when Chucky went to this military school to track down Andy Barclay, he actually started to fixate his focus on another child, a younger cadet named Tyler. So I think that would make a lot of sense for them to bring these characters back. I think it would really make a lot of sense to bring the girl back as well. I'm going to have to go back into the character list and get her name. I had it earlier and it slipped my mind. But I think for Andy's character, because especially if you watch, if I'm not mistaken, what was it, Cult of Chucky? Andy goes on a date and the girl tells him, hey, I looked up your bio, you know what I mean? And, I'm just not sure if this is something, you're somebody I would want to be involved with, etc., because of Andy's past. We know for a fact that Andy and her had a thing for each other in Child's Play 3. So for her to come back in a new Chucky series and maybe want to help Andy because you never know. Maybe she never, maybe she never got over Andy Barkley. You know what I mean? Maybe she continued to still like him and never really moved on with her life from a relationship standpoint after the events of Child's Play 3. So I think that could be very interesting for Andy's character if she were to come back, and try to help him. I think that would be very interesting. And I also think it'd be interesting if Tyler comes back, because what would Tyler be? Would Tyler be like kind of how Andy is? He's traumatized, and after all these years, he tried to forget about it, but he just couldn't. So maybe after hearing what's going on in Hackensack and maybe hearing about Andy, etc., maybe he decides to stand up and say, hey, I want to go help my old friend and finally put an end to Chucky. So I think Screen Rant had a very interesting article, and I think that's a very interesting, theory that could happen, because a lot of people did not like, critics and fans did not like Child's Play 3, but they liked those two characters. So I do think it would do some justice, and maybe I would say maybe bring some peace to the debacle that was Child's Play 3 by bringing these characters in and catching up with them and seeing what happened with their characters after the events of Child's Play 3. I think that's very, very interesting, and it's something I'd like to see. Let's check out some of these comments. Catch up with some of these comments here. Bob Hunt, the TV series was amazing, and thankfully they didn't water him down. Absolutely, I agree. That was the biggest thing. My biggest folk when I heard they were taking him to TV is, oh my God, they're going to edit him from TV. He's not going to be Chucky. It's going to be terrible. And we got the complete opposite. What we got was truly amazing. And I am really excited for season 2. Really excited. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen between him, the dynamic between him and Tiffany, now that we know that she's the one who called the cops on him in the original Child's Play, what led to him being gunned down and having to transfer his soul into the good guy dog. I cannot wait to see how that dynamic plays out in season 2. Castellar Garcia, Chucky has a meaner stake in part 2. I agree. I do agree he was a little bit meaner, and if you're talking about Child's Play 2, I do agree with that. Yes. Southstar Garcia says Bride of Chucky is fun to watch. It is. No, I like Bride of Chucky. I didn't think I would, because obviously it was something when, even though I was a little bit younger than when Bride of Chucky came out in 1999, I was 10 years old, but by that time I was smart enough as a kid to understand, what I was watching, etc. And I remember when it came out, I was like, I don't know about it, because, Chucky has a bride. Like, how is this going to work? And they made it work, and I really enjoyed it. Actually, Bride of Chucky is one of my favorite, and probably I want to say, probably honestly my second favorite, other to the original. I'd like Child's Play 2, but I didn't like it as much as I liked Bride of Chucky. Like you said, Bride of Chucky was a lot of fun, and that's why I liked it a lot. Castellar Garcia says, good horror series, Showtime's Penny Dreadful seasons 1 through 3. See, I've been wanting to peep that out too. I ran across that, and it does look pretty good from what I've seen trailer wise. I have a lot of content I got to catch up on. But that's what this channel is for. We're going to catch up on it, and we're going to talk about it. Bob says, I hope we get Tyler and that one girl, Andy, went to military school. I just miss Tyler a lot. He was cool. Yeah, he was a cool kid. I like Tyler too. And I hope we get her too. I think both those characters' dynamics could be important to Andy's character arc, in terms of possibly moving on from this and getting rid of Chucky, but having a life outside of, always wondering if Chucky's going to, come back and get him, etc. I think that could really be important for Andy to have those two come back, in my opinion. Castellar says, if Andy allies from part 3 appear, then that would be Chucky's ward. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, absolutely. That, and I think that would be fun to watch. You get every single character outside of Andy Barkley that had to deal with Chucky, other than his mom. And I wonder if Andy's mom is alive too. That's another thing I hope we delve into in Chucky season 2. Is I want to know if Mrs. Barkley alive. You know what I mean? I want to know if she's still alive. Like, is she still locked up in the mental ward? Did she pass away? What? I can't recall if they mentioned in the movies or in season 1 that she passed away. I don't recall that. Bob Hunt, the only one I didn't care for was Seed of Chucky, but it was still a fun watch. Yeah, I didn't care for that one either, Bob. It had some funny moments. Redman, was cool to see in it, but it didn't now. Nah. I will say this. I do think that we are going to get Glenda to arrive in season 2. If not in the middle or the beginning of the movie, I think maybe as towards the end, maybe like a cliffhanger leading into season 3, if they're going to have a season 3, which I want to believe they will. I can definitely see Glenda making an appearance in season 2. I don't think it will be early on and in the middle. I kind of vision that kind of being like a surprise for the ending, and then, like I said, leading into season 3 if they're going to have a season 3. But yeah, definitely Seed of Chucky wasn't not so great. Definitely not. Castellar Garcia Hellraiser is getting a TV series. Yeah, I saw that. I liked the original Hellraiser. I really didn't get into them afterwards. I kind of felt like it kind of got a little crazy in my opinion. But I liked the original Hellraiser a lot. And in all honesty, I think that could bode well for that. I think that would be good for TV. Excuse me. I think that would be really, really good for TV. Hellraiser, in my opinion, kind of belongs on the Sci-Fi Channel. I think that would be perfect for the Sci-Fi Channel. Because then they can go in a lot of different directions, and the special effects with the technology we have nowadays would be pretty badass. So I'm not against that. I'm pretty sure they're talking about doing a movie as well. If I'm not mistaken, I think I heard something about that out there, about Hellraiser not only getting a TV series, but obviously a remake on the movie as well. Solar Garcia, The People Under the Stairs is getting a remake. Yes, I did see that, and if I'm not mistaken, Jordan Peele is remaking that, and I am excited for that because I'm interested to see what his take and what his point of view on that movie will be. I love People Under the Stairs. That's an underrated classic in my opinion. So I'm really, really looking forward to see what he's going to do with that, for sure. Really looking forward to seeing what's going on. Oh, went down the wrong hole there. Oh, not good. Castellar Garcia, I hope Andy's mom and Detective Norris come back. Wow, it's funny you say that, Castellar, because I didn't even bother to think about Detective Norris. That could be a very high possibility as well. I would be on board for that. Yeah, definitely. Being that, yeah, he obviously had contact with Chucky. He's seen it firsthand. And that would be nice to see what has happened to his character since the events of, the original Child's Play. So I like that. I like that a lot. The Running Man is getting a remake. Oh, that should be interesting. Firestarter remake is arriving soon. Yes, I'm doing my video for that tomorrow. I'm watching the original Firestarter later tonight when I'm done doing the stream, and when I'm done hitting up some of my other YouTube content creator streams that I like to support. See if anybody else is streaming tonight. Hop in their chat, see what's going on, and then like later on, probably in the wee hours around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to pop in that original Firestarter because I have not watched it in so long, and I'm going to watch it, and I want to do a video tomorrow, kind of doing like a comparison of what I expect in this new one and what not to expect, and what we can expect to be the same, but what we can expect to be different, and in the new one as compared to the old one. So I'm checking out that fire starter later on tonight. That old one anyway. Bob Hunt, I'm definitely looking forward to People Under the Stairs. Yes, I am too, Bob. That is going to be, I think that's going to be really, really good. I think Jordan is going to have a really good idea for what he wants to do with that. He's a damn genius. I like him a lot as a horror director because he's different. He delves into other things. Like it's just nothing's just simple with Jordan Peele. There's always, there's always a mixture of everything. You can get just about anything with him. I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, definitely guys like Chucky. Like, now I will say this. Do you guys, I'll ask you guys this about Chucky. One, do you think they're going to do a sequel to the Child's Play remake that came out? And if not, eventually, do you see this version of Chucky, the real Chucky, the Chucky we know and love, possibly getting another movie himself? Me personally, I think they're really liking the direction of the TV series, and I can't see them putting Brad Dourif Chucky back on screen unless if it was for another Child's Play remake, but in the eyes of obviously Don Mancini and Brad Dourif, etc. But I don't, being that we're kind of already getting that with the TV series, and we've already got a ton of backstory on Chucky and these other characters like that you could have put in a movie, I can't see the Charles Lee Ray that we know and love, in terms of Don Mancini and Brad Dourif's, going back to the big screen. And I'm really hoping that they don't do a Child's Play 2. But I kind of feel like they are. But what do you guys think? I hope they don't do that Child's Play, that sequel to Child's Play. That remake was terrible. Chucky spitting out lasers and stuff. Like, no, I'm not cool with that. Not at all. Solar Garcia, The Northman was a brutal, savage film. That's another one I haven't got to check out. South Star Garcia, Friday the 13th, May 13th, 2022. The Evil Dead video game is arriving. I did see about that. That looks like it's going to be fun. That looks like it's going to be real fun. Castellar Garcia, Jordan Peele did a good job with Twilight Zone. No, he did. He does a good job with just about. I can't think of one bad project he's done yet. Honestly, have you guys? Like, I can't. I can't think of one bad project Jordan has touched yet, in my opinion, anyway. The Child's Play remake needs the original voice back. It doesn't just need the original voice back, Castellar. It never needed to be made without Brad Dourif and Don Mancini in the first place, in my opinion. You just can't do a Chucky movie without Brad Dourif. That's like a lot of people say you can't do a Freddy Krueger movie without Robert Englund, but I tend to kind of differentiate from that to a degree. But in my opinion, you just can't do you can't do a Chucky without Brad Dourif. And I feel like the Child's Play remake showed us that front and center. Nothing to take away from, if I'm not mistaken, his name is Mark Hamill or something like that, who did the voice of Chucky. Not to take anything away from him, not to shit on him or anything. But Brad Dourif is Chucky. And that's just the end and all of that. You know what I mean? So honestly, it shouldn't have happened. They went over Don Mancini's head in a very disrespectful manner, and they recreated his movie without his blessing, and they did a terrible job. So in my opinion, that movie should have never happened, and I hope they don't do any more. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. The Chucky we have right now is on TV. The Chucky that we know and love is on TV now. You know what I mean? Don't do any more spin-offs or any of their own takes. None of that. I'm good. That Child's Play remake really, really turned me off. Did not like that at all. Like I said, Chucky, like lasers, like come on. A lot of people can say, oh, can say that about the voodoo and how he transported into the doll, but I believe that to be a lot more believable than a doll splitting out lasers, in my opinion. Castellar Garcia, Tom Holland got the rights to Fright Night, and he did Child's Play 1. Oh, well, that should be interesting. Fright Night. I am kind of interested. I did hear something about that. I am interested to see how that works out. And are you talking about Tom Holland, who does Spider-Man? Because if he did do Child's Play 1, or are you talking about a director, a different director? Because I'm thinking, I'm thinking about who plays Spider-Man Holland. See, every time I see that last name now, I think about him. He got the rights to Fright Night, and he did Child's Play 1. Okay, so you're talking about the original Child's Play. Okay, got you. Or whatever. Okay, so as long as that guy's doing, Fright Night, and not the people who did the remake to Child's Play, I'm not scared then. I thought that's where you were referring to, Castellar. That's interesting, Castellar. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on that here in a second. So you brought up Freddy, Castellar. Yeah, so let's move on to Freddy off of Chucky. Feel like we got everything we needed to talk about on Chucky. Very excited for season 2 and hope they don't make a remake on that Child's Play remake. All right, let's move on to talking about Freddy. Now, Castellar just came in with an interesting comment. The new Freddy, Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, or Richard Brake. Wow. That's not a bad lineup. I need to take a sip on that one. That's not a bad lineup. That's not a bad lineup at all. I really like the Richard Brake one. I do. I think that's that could be very credible. Nothing to take away from Kiefer or Kevin Bacon, but Richard Brake, because he's so used to playing in these type of movies, like kind of like with Rob Zombie and these grunge house type movies and stuff. I can see him playing the role of Freddy, and he's funny. He's got a lot of dark humor with him. You know what I mean? So I can see that. Now, Castellar, my pick would be Matthew Lillard. I really think Matthew Lillard could pull Freddy Krueger off. I do. But Richard Brake that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I like that. I like that a lot. Good stuff, Castellar. Richard Brake. Yeah, that's interesting. Because he is funny. He has that dark humor to him, and he does have a sense of creepiness to him. He can make that work. Yeah, I'd be on board with Richard Brake. I don't know if the casual Freddy fans would, but I'd be down for that. Bob Hunt says, I'm torn because I hate the remake, but my cousin got into horror because of the remake, so I'm not sure. I mean, just look at it from it's a double-edged sword for you, Bob. On one end, you don't like it, but then on the other end, because something good came out of it, at least I'm gonna put it this way. It wasn't really a good movie in your eyes, but it served some purpose because it helped introduce your cousin to horror. I mean, so it helped serve, even though it wasn't a good movie, it served a purpose. We'll go with that. I agree with you because the remake, And it's not a knack on Jackie Earl Haley. I like Jackie Earl Haley. I thought he did okay. I thought he did a better job than what people gave him credit for. I just think the writing for that character, for that version of Freddy, was awful. And I think that they got it right with Renee Mara as Nancy. I liked her as Nancy. I liked her. I like her as an actress. But just overall, the writing, I feel like the writing for the entire movie, but especially for Freddy Krueger, that wasn't that great. Wasn't that great at all. Bob Hunt, me personally, Richard Brake, but I'd really like to see Matthew Lillard try as Freddy. I agree with that. But I'm not Bob, man. Castellar came up with a good one. Richard Brake, that is a really good option. That is. If we can't get Matthew, if we can't get who we really want to give it a try, which is Matthew Lillard, that would really Richard Brake. That's a good, strong option. That's a really good option. But I'm with you, Bob. I would like to see Matthew Lillard give it a try. I would. I think he would do such a fantastic job in that role, in that type of environment, in that setting. I do. But so would Richard Brake, because he's the man. I'm a big fan of Richard Brake. I don't think that guy gets enough credit for his acting chops and for his dark, twisted humor. I don't. He's really good. He's really good at what he does. Now, all right, since we're on Freddy, okay. So we obviously got out, who we would like to see play the new Freddy. Obviously, if Robert Englund would never to butter up and make a return. My question would be, what would you want the story to be centered around? Would you want it to bring back the would you want it to bring back the original characters, like in terms of Nancy? Would you want it to refollow her story? Would you want it to pick up maybe when Nancy's older? Like, I personally would just like to see them start a whole new story and go in a whole different direction. I think that's how you can get different and how you can make this more interesting. I think that if you go back to the Nancy character, that you're just in all honesty recycling what Russ Craven did in the 80s. If you want to get different and you want to bring in a new audience as well, I feel like you would have to freshen up the story and kind of go in a new direction from what the casual Freddy fans know. Now, I think an interesting story that could be a good centerpiece to start on is start off with Freddy's daughter. Remember in Freddy's Dead, his daughter? Why don't we get a story based around that? Give us some backstory on Freddy, how he was before he got burned, and then lead into the events, obviously, after he got burned and killed. And then we start to follow his daughter, but in a more in-depth way, to where he's haunting his daughter, and now he's going after everybody she loves in order to get to her, and I guess introduce himself in a way, but just I don't know if his purpose would be to kill her or what. You know what I mean? But I think that could be an interesting dynamic for a storyline if you kind of go back and do something about Freddy and his daughter. I felt like Freddy's Dead kind of did an okay job with setting the groundwork for that type of story, but they didn't remain consistent. They didn't remain consistent, and it was kind of goofy. I feel like that's something they could revisit, and if they give it to us on a more broader perspective, I think that could be a very interesting storyline. Following Freddy's daughter, and she sees visions of him. He's in her dreams. He's maybe killing her boyfriend, her friends, anything, something like that. I would be on board for that. I think it would be something different that nobody would expect, because I think a lot of the casual Nightmare on Elm Street fans are expecting that if we're going to get a new movie, it's going to be centered around Nancy again. And in my personal opinion, I don't want that. I want something fresh and I want something new. And I think this is a way that you can, to a degree, if you are going to take a back step and kind of peel something from the older movies, this could be a story that you could appeal, but give it to us, like I said, in a broader perspective. I'm interested in that. Check some of these comments here. Castellar Garcia says, I want to see Woody Harrelson as a doctor in Elm Street. I wouldn't mind that. I'm surprised Woody Harrelson didn't get brought up to play Freddy. That's the one name I'm actually surprised that they didn't get his name thrown in the hat for Freddy. He'd be an okay Freddy. I don't think he'd be the greatest, but he'd be okay. But we don't settle for okay, so okay wouldn't be good enough. Bob Hunt says, I think if we get a new Nightmare movie soon, I'd like to see the guy who played Steve Harrington as a victim of Freddy. Steve Harrington. Bob, which one was that? Was that 2? Oh, from Stranger Things. Okay, Bob, I see it. I see it. Oh. Okay, so I think if we get a new Nightmare movie soon, I'd like to see the guy who played Steve Harrington as a victim of Freddy from Stranger Things. I mean that's not out of the realm of possibility, and I don't think that's a bad idea neither. That's not a bad idea at all, and it would bring some nostalgia because he was a victim of Freddy, so that would make some sense. Castellar Garcia says Elm Street needs a theme with a double meaning, like the Dream Team. A couple of teens team up to face Freddy in the dream world. I'm 50-50 on that. I don't know. I really like the job that Wes Craven did with the new Nightmare in terms of bringing Freddy into more reality based. So that's why I'm kind of like on the fences with that one, Castellar. However, I mean, if done correctly, that wouldn't be a bad one. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Definitely something different. I will give you 100% credit on that. That's definitely something different. So I just think it would all be, how would they go about that? You know what I mean? How would they go about that? I think it'd have to be, something that's not cheesy. Castellar Garcia says, but secretly Freddy has the bully kids from high school on his side, helping lure kids to get killed in the dream world. Huh. Okay, so now I've seen the rest of that. Okay. Huh. I don't know, Castellar. I don't know if I would want anybody really helping Freddy. I'd want Freddy to act on his own, in all honesty. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, though, man. I don't know how I'd feel seeing, a bunch of people in the dream world. I know it's the dream world. I know, we have to use our imagination, but excuse me, even in the dream world, I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people would be on board for that. You know what I mean? And stuff like, I think that if they would do that, a lot of people would see it as kind of too cheesy. I think what a lot of people want from a new Freddy movie is they want him to be Freddy and be punchliney and be funny, but they also want him to be brutal and serious. So I don't know that. I mean, I think a lot of people would take that as cheesy. But hey, man, I respect your opinion. You know what I mean? And hey, if I'm not against this. Anything, it could be possible if done correctly. Anything could work if it's done correctly. I'll say that if it's done correctly, anything can work for sure. So we'll see. Castle Garcia says Alexandra Aja Fede Alvarez could do a Elm Street or James Wan. I want James Wan. Nothing against Fede Alvarez, but he did a terrible job with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I don't want him touching anything in terms of horror icons related anymore. Nope. He gets a slap on the hand from now on when it comes to touching any of the horror icons, man. I'm sorry. That Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in my opinion, was just I just can't. I can't do it. I can't. I can't do it at all. I can't. And it's crazy because on first look of watching that initial Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 just based on Leatherface's performance alone, though. I wasn't looking at it from the perspective of storyline and how much things make sense, etc. When I watched it again, I had to tick that down to a 6, and I'm being nice by giving it a 6 just because I like how Leatherface was in that movie. You know what I mean? I'm being nice with that. But Fede Alvarez, I mean, not trying to discredit and say he hasn't done good work before because he's had some okay stuff out there. But I don't want him touching any more of the horror icons, buddy. He kind of messed it up for me by messing up Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But James Wan, that's the one I want. That's the guy right there. For a New Nightmare on Elm Street, yes, he's got to be the guy, in my opinion. James Wan is phenomenal. Love James Wan as a director and a filmmaker and creator. Love him. He would be perfect for the Nightmare on Elm Street. Perfect. I can't think of a better selection, in all honesty. Bob Hunt says, start a whole new story. And yes, start with Freddy's daughter. I agree, Bob. I think that, like I said, and Freddy's dead. I enjoyed the backdrop and the backstory that, okay, he has a daughter and they're trying to tell her story and they're trying, to take us back at the same time. I just think it was poorly executed. That's how I'm going to say that. That was poorly executed. And I think if you're going to do a new one, you can make up for that missed opportunity in Freddy's Dead, and you can make it a lot more broader and a lot more serious. And I think that could be something that has the potential to be something really, really good if done right. I really like that idea of bringing Freddy's daughter back into the fray. I do. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to grab a bottle of water. All right. Quick, fast, easy. Yeah. Oh. Tell you one thing, man. I love coffee, but it damn sure dries you out. But I need it because it's going to be a long night for sure. But, okay. Let's check out more of these comments. Castle Art says, change the dynamic, make Freddy the innocent. Ooh. I kind of feel like they did that in the remake a little bit, though, by trying to make us feel bad for him. I kind of feel like they made it. They didn't know if they wanted to make Freddy a child predator, or if they wanted to make it seem like he was a child predator if they wanted to make it seem like he wasn't a child predator, but everybody misunderstood him for that. I kind of feel like that's what we got in the new Nightmare on Elm Street in 2009 anyway. I feel like we kind of got that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, make Freddy the innocent. Like I said, I don't know about that. I mean, it would be something different though. In terms of changing the dynamic, yeah, absolutely. I just kind of feel like we did get that a little bit in the remake and the reboot. So I don't know. I maybe I would have a better feeling about that if we would have got more clarity as to what Freddy was supposed to be in the reboot. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I kind of got a mixed feeling. I got a mixed bag. One minute they want us to believe he was a child predator. Next minute they want us to believe he wasn't, and that the people basically burned him for no reason and was misunderstood. So, I mean, but that in terms of being different, not a bad idea. Like I said, anything can work if it's done right. Castellar Garcia, I agree with that. Show more of Freddy's abusive father in the flashbacks. I agree with that. I would like that. Maybe we can set the table, the first few minutes setting the table with that, and then maybe Freddy's dad is like his first kill. I'd be on board for that. That'd be a nice way to set the table. Castellar says Freddy possessing teenagers to also attack the parents would be an interesting dynamic. Yeah. Something different for sure. It's not a bad idea. Something different. We know he does have powers of, the demons, and stuff like that. They give him special powers, so that's not, impossible. Bob Hunt says, what I was trying to say was the guy who played Steve Harrington in Stranger Things could be in the remake as a victim. He has the ability to make you hate him, so he could be the ignorant jock. Okay, now I get what you're saying. See, Bob, I've watched Stranger Things a handful of times. That's one of those shows that I was iffy about at first, but after watching a few episodes, I said, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to binge on the entire repertoire of each season. So that's something that I'm definitely going to have to get caught up on. So yeah, but now I get what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah. I always like characters that can make you hate them, especially in horror movies, because they can be set up so well to get killed. Bob Hunt says sequel, not remake. I can't type. Like I said, buddy, happens to me all the time, especially with these big ass fingers. You know what I mean? It happens. Castellar Garcia says Freddy could attack comatose kids trapped in their dreams 24/7. Have the kids create a strong bond to protect each other in the dream world, and for Freddy to create a more evil maze dream world. Man, I'll give it to you, Castellar. You have some very interesting ideas for sure. You know what I mean? Some very interesting ideas. I think what I'm taking is you really want to see them basically make a movie that's basically centered in the dream world, not in reality. And hey, that's not a bad take, and it's not a bad idea. I mean, Freddy is a character based on dreams, so that would not be a bad dynamic, and it wouldn't be a bad idea. I just think the casual fans, and just if you're trying to draw a new audience in, they go for more realistic premises, and I just don't know how they could create a realistic premise based on the dream world synopsis and background. I don't know how they could do that. Is it impossible? No, nothing's impossible, but it would be tough. I will say that would be really, really tough. Really, really tough. But hey, what's nothing wrong with a challenge, right? That's what these filmmakers, they love to make these movies. They love to make a lot of money. You know, you got to be challenged sometimes. You know what I mean? And hey, maybe if they feel challenged enough, maybe they feel like they can pull off some MacGyver shit. You never know. It's not impossible to think. I really like some of these ideas that you do have, Castellar, man. Like, they're interesting. Even if I'm not 100% on board or think that that could be the direction that they would go for a new Freddy movie, I think just coming from you, you know what I mean, that in your belief, I think those are very, very interesting, man. Like, honestly, you know what I mean? Like, I will say this, like, especially let's say if we were to get a new Freddy movie and it wouldn't be based in the dream world, and it would be more based on what we know it to be like in reality. For a content creator such as myself, you know what I mean, that eventually wants to get into fan filming and stuff like that, that would be an incredible direction to take in the fan film, in my opinion. That would be pretty nice. That would be better to do in a fan film than an actual film, in my opinion, because in my opinion, in fan films, you can get away with so much more. You know what I mean? As opposed to having a box office, money, etc., etc. With fan films, it's coming off, it's from the fans' perspective. You know what I mean? So that would be something if I were to do a fan film, you know what I mean? That'd be something that I'd probably dabble my fingers into. Hey, let's center the script and let's center the backdrop entirely into the dream world. Let's not go into reality at all. Let's center it around Freddy's world. You know what I mean? That would be pretty sick for a fan film. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I don't know so much about like box office, but in a fan film, like I said, where you can get away with things that you wouldn't be able to get away with in a feature film, I'm on board with that, man. Man, like that's a good idea, Castellar. Man, you should start. I don't know if you do your own. I'm gonna have to take a look at your channel, Castellar, and see if you got any videos out there, theories that, like much like I do and stuff, like much like Bob Hunt does and stuff. I'm gonna take a gander on your channel and see what you got, man. And if you don't do stuff like this, Castellar, like content creating, making videos for theories, you should. You know what I mean? Because you got some pretty good ideas, man, and some interesting shit, man. You know, that's one thing you will find on this channel, man. I will support you. You know what I mean? All content creators who are just like me coming up in this horror community, trying to grow your channels. I will support you 100% because we are in this together. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to check out your channel, Castellar, and see if you got anything. And if you don't, you know what I mean? Maybe consider joining the fray with us, with content creators like Bob Hunt and myself. Keep creating content, having these type of discussions, having these type of live streams and videos, etc. Because if you don't already do it, you already seem like you are. I'll say that you seem like you do, but if you don't, I think you should get on it, my man. I like your ideas. That's coming. Okay. But yeah, I really like that. You know what I mean? I like that. Like I said, especially for, like I said, a fan film. Because I just feel like in fan films, you can get away with so much more. You can use your imagination a lot more. You know what I mean? You don't got to worry about, oh, well, this isn't going to look believable. The fans are going to be mad, this and that. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a good idea for a fan film. So, another thing about Freddy, um, hmm, how's this? Instead of, okay, so let's say if we go get a remake, right? And it's not centered around his daughter. How about instead of it being a female, it's who's the main victim here. How about it be a guy this time, as it was like in how it was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2? Why don't we have a guy be Freddy's victim this time to start it off if we're going to do a remake? I wouldn't be against that. It would be something different because nobody would expect them to, do a new Freddy movie with a guy being the main victim. I think a lot of people would automatically think it would have to be a girl or Nancy. You know what I mean? So I think that's a different direction you could take. Kind of pinch what Nightmare on Elm Street 2 did by having a guy be who Freddy's targeting. I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against that at all. I think that's another nice little, somewhat of variance, but you're still kind of, peeling some of the, a little nostalgia from the old, but you're not overwhelming with it. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I would be on board with that. A guy being like Freddy's main target in a new Nightmare reboot. I would be on board with that. I mean, I really would like that, honestly. Something different. And it also adds a whole new dynamic to it too. I feel like in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, they could have they missed an opportunity with making a dynamic between, you know, the guy and Freddy. I felt like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was more comedy than anything. You know what I mean? I feel like they missed on a lot of opportunities to make that dynamic between Freddy and, the guy. I forget his name. Obviously you watch these movies. If you ain't watched these movies in a while, you will forget. And there's so many movies, to watch. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard forgetting some of these names. I mean, remembering some of these names and stuff. But that's something they could do. You know what I mean? Bring a guy into the fray as the main, the main person that Freddy's going after, the main target. I wouldn't be against that. What about a group? A guy and a group of his buddies, like all his guy friends. You know what I mean? And maybe we'll have like maybe a couple of the guy friends will have like a girlfriend or two, but you know what I mean? Like I think that would be something different. You know what I mean? Centered around a guy. I see that they're redoing Children of the Corn, where the main antagonist, who's supposed to be playing the Isaac type character, is going to be a female. I think that's fascinating. I'm on board with that. I'm interested to see where they're going to take that. You know what I mean? I'm interested in that. So definitely could start off with a guy. Yeah, Bob. Yeah, start off with a guy is a great choice. I think that is a great choice as well. Like it would be different. It would be something we wouldn't expect. It would be something we definitely wouldn't expect, like I said, because we almost all but expect to have a final girl. Why not have a final guy to start off this new reboot, this new remake? I'm not against it. Castellar says a guy being a school reporter, finding things about Kruger, and finding out that a family member of his was a previous victim. It's another good idea. That's another good idea. Huh. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. I like that idea a lot. Because see, what you can do with that is, obviously you reveal that, a previous character or whatever, a previous character from a film was a family member of this new school reporter. You know what I mean? So now the school reporter finds this out, and now they want to start digging into the past of Freddy and the past of the town and everything. And that could, what is Freddy? What does Freddy feed off of? Especially, what does he say in Freddy versus Jason? Fear. It's the fear. So now, if the school reporter finds out, holy shit, I have a family member who was a victim of the one and only Freddy Krueger. Well, not only is it going to intrigue their interest, it's going to bring some fear into them. That will allow Freddy to come back, and that would be a good way to kind of bring Freddy back and explain it. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I like that idea a lot, Castellar. Like I say, you can go in many different directions because now, like I said, as they're going to be scared, but now they're also going to be even more intrigued to dig and find out more what they can find out about Freddy. And we all know the more you try to dig and find out about Freddy, the more his confidence and his powers grow to where he can start to cross over into our dreams. So that is definitely Castellar, another dynamic that really could work outside of the daughter one that I came up with, that I pitched. I think that could be honestly the best idea. Honestly, have a school reporter find things about Krueger and then find out that their family member was a previous victim. I'd be on board with that because then like I said, you can dig deeper and then we can go into a nice story. That would be a nice little story if it's done correctly. Yeah, because then also it would give Freddie a purpose to target this school reporter. Because not only is this school reporter, digging stuff up from the past, you know, Freddie could see it as, oh well, I killed one family member. What's killing another? So I like that. Good idea, Castellar. Really good idea. Salute. Salute. I like that idea a lot. I really do. Really, really do. I like that. I just really hope, guys, that what we get, if we do get a new Freddy movie, I hope they cast somebody who's the perfect fit for the job. I just don't think Jackie Earl Haley was the perfect fit for that role. And that's why I think it came out the way it did and why a lot of people didn't like it. You know, I think if you get somebody who's going to really delve into the nuances of the Freddy Krueger character, I think it could potentially come out a lot better than what people think. I do. Kessler says since Freddy's body was never found and the adults in town saying he disappeared brings more fear to the teenagers. Hmm. That's a way to conjure up him. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if his body was never found and things start to slowly happen that kind of signal that he's back. Well, obviously their growing fear only obviously as I said, grows his confidence and grows, his powers to cross over. So yeah, that's another good one, Castellar. That's another good one. Another good one for sure. There's so many directions that they could take with Freddy's character. And, for a reboot, I just think, like I said, what a lot of people are having a hard time with is who's going to play the role. And just so many people are steadfast. No, we don't want another Freddy movie unless it's going to be with Robert Englund. And, not knocking him. I understand that. You know what I mean? Especially with how 2009 came out. They with how the 2019 Nightmare on Elm Street was, they kind of gave those people who didn't want to see nobody else play Freddy other than Robert Englund, they gave them more ammunition and gave them more credibility as to why they shouldn't make another Nightmare on Elm Street movie without Robert Englund because it was so poorly executed in the remake. So, but I just think if they can get the right person, whether it be Matthew Lillard, Richard Brake, somebody, if not even those two, but somebody who can resemble that, I'd be on board for that. I'd really be on board with that. I really would. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I want to see another Freddy movie. I'm ready for one. It's been what? I said what? 13 years now. It's a long time. I mean, I'm ready for a new Freddy movie. I just hope that if they do go forward with one, you find somebody who's gonna live up to that role. Simple and plain. Who's gonna put in the work to live up to that role. And then you build around that. You can do that. Then we can get a future, a possible good remake for a Freddy movie. But I really would like James Wan as a director because he's such a good storyteller. And that's why I want James Wan, because of the storytelling. That's why he's so perfect. James Wan directing Nightmare on Elm Street from a storyline perspective is like a wet dream. Honestly, like he's so good. He is so good at storytelling. You know what I mean? So James Wan, if we can get James Wan to direct the next Nightmare on Elm Street movie, we are going to have a treat on our hands. Mark my words. Mark my words. Steven, what's going? Steven says 6 times in the comment section. What's going on, buddy? Thank you for stopping in the stream, man. Your support is greatly appreciated, brother. Appreciate you, man. How's your night going, Steven? Just in here having a little discussion about, some multiple slasher friends here. Started off with Chucky, moved over to Freddy. You know what I mean? Just sharing some opinions and ideas about these characters that, what we want to see in, in possible remakes. Obviously the Chucky TV series we touched on, what we want to see for season 2, and all that stuff. So yeah, just, putting our ideas together, buddy. Steven says James Wan, J Dub. I would agree. Scanner Cop 1 and 2 are good films. It's going good, man. / on. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. Now, Steven, quick question. J Dub, is that another director? And if so, is that the director for Scanner Cop 1 and 2? because I have. Oh no, you're that. I got the comments mixed up. Castellar says Scanner Cop 1 and Scanner Cop 2 are good films. Got you. And Steven, who is J Dub? Scanner Cop 1 and 2 are good films. Huh, I'm going to have to check those out too then. You know what? One movie I want to see a remake of? Maniac Cop. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save talking about that for Throwback Thursday for this upcoming week. That's what we can talk about for Throwback Thursday. Maniac Cop. You know what I mean? I that is such an underrated movie in my opinion. Maniac Cop was the shit. Castellar says Juan just finished Salem's Lot from Stephen King. Yes, I know, and I'm interested to see how that's going to come out. Really interested to see how that is going to come out. Steven says Dubois. Okay, I kind of figured that, but I wasn't sure, Steven. I just wanted to clarify and make sure, man. You know, that was my fault. Steven says just messing around. No, you're good, buddy. You're good. Like I said, I didn't read that correctly. I don't think. Well, I did, but like I think I got you and Castellar's comments mixed up, obviously, and stuff, and that's where the confusion came from. Sam Castellar says Sam Raimi should do another Darkman film. See, you know what I mean? I would like to see Sam Raimi just focus on, you know what I mean? Like I think him and Bruce Campbell doing another Evil Dead. That's what I know Sam Raimi for, guys. Like, sorry, I just do. I'm not saying he's not great at anything else he does. He's definitely an all-time great. You know what I mean? I just know Sam Raimi for his Evil Dead work, you know what I mean, mostly, and I love that work. So like that's where it ends for me with Sam Raimi. Like if he's not making more Evil Dead stuff, I'm just like whatever. Sorry. I mean, love the Evil Dead series. Castellar says the Raft from 1986 with Charlie Sheen is Fast and Furious meets The Crow. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out for sure. Charlie Sheen is in it too, so yeah, I would definitely check that out. Like Charlie. Castellar says I just got from Amazon Maniac Cop 2 with Killer Party from 1986 together. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, Maniac Cop, man. I love all three movies. I was entertained by all three movies. I didn't think either one of those movies was bad. That is that is a movie that I do wish they would remake. And like I said, Thursday we're going to touch on it even more so on Throwback Thursdays. This upcoming week for Throwback Thursday, we're going to talk about Maniac Cop. Yeah, definitely. I like that. I mean, Maniac Cop. I love that. The original one, the second one, and the third one. All three good movies. All three of them. Steven says, I know you look forward to Evil Dead Rising. Of course, Steven. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Castellar, I do, if I'm not mistaken, I do think I've watched Sam Raimi's The Gift a couple of times. It's been a while, so I have to make sure that is the gift that I think that you're talking about. But if it is, I have watched it. It has been a while, but it wasn't bad. If it's the one I think if it's the right one, you know what I mean, that I think it is, then that was a pretty good movie. But yes, Steven, Evil Dead Rising, definitely looking forward to that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But like we were talking about, I think it was in I want to say Craven's stream or whatnot. I would love to see a Scream video game. That would be so fun. I think a Scream video game would be so much fun. And I think it was Carrie Crave Cinema who said something about you have a whole lobby full of friends, that's playing, but you don't know which one's the killer and stuff. I think that would be cool, man. Like I do. I would really like if they made a Scream video game. Steven says Bateman, right? Yes, if I'm not mistaken. Cordell is a frightening character, says Castellar Garcia. Yes, yes. Robert Dazar, man, it's a shame. He passed away. The original Maniac Cop, he passed away or whatever. But he did such a good job with those movies and that character. He definitely was a frightening killer for sure. I mean, and what I liked about it is that they captured the true terror of what a vigilante rogue cop looks like. You know what I mean? Here's somebody that you think is here to protect you and to serve you, and instead he's the one who's killing you and putting you in a body bag. I love that whole dynamic of that. I do. Like I thought that was so well done, and of course Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell was in it. Love Bruce Campbell. Bob Hunt says yes. I love that a lot. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. I would love to see a Maniac Cop remake. I do. I will say this. I know they were planning on doing a Maniac Cop TV series. It was supposed to go to HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken, before the pandemic happened. And then it got scrapped or whatever, or got put on hold. But I did see that there was a Maniac Cop TV series supposed to come out, and it was supposed to be centered around Matt Cordell in the original movie, etc. I wouldn't be against that neither if they would turn it into a TV series. Just bring back Matt Cordell, and I'll be happy. That is one character I'd like to see come back either to the big screen or to TV. So that is something that I'm going to have to keep an eye on and see if they're still doing that project in terms of a Maniac Cop TV series. That is one franchise, in my opinion, that does not get any credit. No credit. When I talk to a lot of horror fans and stuff, you hear the Screams, you hear the Halloweens, you hear, even the Craft and stuff like that. You don't ever hear much about Maniac Cop. You know what I mean? And I thought Maniac Cop, it wasn't like super scary, like, oh my God, you were jumping out of your skin. No, but the character himself was fucking frightening. Castellar says, I love killing people in Friday the 13th video game challenges. It is fun. I've done that. My cousin has that game because he's big. He's big into horror too, but he's younger. Like he's a younger kid. So but he has the Friday the 13th game and all that. And so sometimes when I'm over there, he'll let me play his game or whatever and stuff like that when I'm over there. And yeah, it definitely is fun. Friday the 13th video game is fun, especially in the video game challenges. Cassar said Sam Raimi did Drag Me to Hell. Yeah, that was actually better than what I thought it was going to be. I actually enjoyed that movie, Drag Me to Hell. That was pretty good. You know what I mean? I actually enjoyed that one. Cassar says Bruce Campbell's Elvis Presley and Bubba Hotep, where he faces a mummy. That's interesting. Bruce Campbell. That's why That's why I've always loved Bruce Campbell, because he was always willing to delve outside the box and do different stuff. That's why I have a lot of respect for him. Raimi's gone Marvel. Strange MD just hit 500 million, I believe. Watch him try to keep his ass. You're right. Oh, absolutely, Steven. They're not letting he that kind of money. They're not letting Raimi walk out the door, buddy. You know that. Money talks, man. Money sure does talk. Castor says Phantasm 2 is a great sci-fi horror film. Hail the Tall Man. Oh man, Phantasm, yes, Phantasm 1 and 2. I mean, I like the entire series, even though it did start to get a little wonky at the end there. I enjoyed the entire Phantasm franchise. I thought it was great. You know what I mean? The Tall Man is great. You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny because I think I mentioned it last week that is another one. That is another movie I said I wanted them to remake and bring back, especially with today's technology and special effects. Oh man, Phantasm would be an awesome movie to watch right now. Would be great. Like man, you guys are getting you guys are getting me hyped up, man. Especially for Phantasm. I would love to see a Phantasm remake. Yes. Yes, give us some Phantasm. Bring back the Tall Man. Bring him back, guys. Let's go. Hell yes. Hell yes. I would love that. Like I said, could you guys imagine? Could you guys imagine the special effects in today's time for Phantasm? Wow. If they do it right anyway, don't fuck it up anyway. If they make it look as good as the originals, oh my God. Wow. That would be so fun to watch. It would be. Steven says Bruce died pretty quick in Congo. He died fairly quick in Maniac Cop 2 as well. That was one of the more shocking things about Maniac Cop 2 that I didn't see coming. I thought that he was going to be in the entire movie, and he actually gets killed in like the first 10 minutes. So, not the first time Bruce has sacrificed himself, for an early exit. Castellar says the Night Flyer is a good film. It's another one I haven't caught up with. Near Dark and Frailty showcase Bill Paxton and horror. Yes, those were actually good. I watched both of those. Frailty, in my opinion, was underrated. I liked Frailty. Matthew McConaughey did a great job. Castellar says the Denzel Washington Fallen is a good horror film. No, that is a good horror film. Man, Castellar, you just brought up an oldie for me, man. I haven't watched that in a long time, but that I remember. Like, how there's just certain movies, even if you haven't watched it in a while, and if you didn't watch it as much as you might have watched some other movies, that it just you know it and it doesn't really leave your head. That's how The Fallen is for me. In all honesty, that is how The Fallen is for me. That was a good horror movie. Steven says a vampire flying his own plane. I love it. Castellar, Pumpkinhead might get a remake. Oh God. Oh, I never really got into the Pumpkinheads. Never really got into them. But hell with it. It's horror. So hey, who am I to knock it? Castellar Garcia says scary stuff. Divine shields up. Steven says that to Castellar Garcia. Gotcha. Castellar Garcia's Pet Cemetery Part 1 is uncomfortable to watch. Absolutely. 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 Bob Hunt says, I am sorry for not sticking around, but I'm trying to catch up on some sleep. Last 2 nights have been crazy. Hey, Bob, man. Hey, you go get some rest, my man. I appreciate you for stopping in, man. You're always supporting, my man. In all honesty, I have to say you're probably right now like my top supporter. So I greatly appreciate you, my man. Go get some sleep, and I'll catch you later, buddy. I'll hit you up on the gram. Castellar Garcia says the Gate Part 1 and 2 are interesting. Now, are you Castellar? Are you talking about the Gate with Johnny Depp, the first one? Because if so, I didn't know they had a Part 2 because I didn't like the Part 1. Castellar Garcia says The Relic is a good monster film. Yeah, that was a good monster film for sure. That it was. Well, it is. We should say, yeah, it definitely is. Steve says, sleep well, Bob. Dream, dream, dream. Oh, come on, Steven. Don't curse our boy now. I mean, oh, I don't know. I don't need to hear no news that Freddie done got to our boy now. Come on now, Steven. Steven says, hell yeah, Stan Winston has made a fucking mark. Yeah, absolutely. Bob says, text on Insta. Castellar Garcia says, I just got on Walmart. Tales from the Dark Side TV series, Werewolf TV series, and the Hitchhiker TV series. Nice. Nice. The Hitchhiker. That's another underrated one for me. Hitchhiker was good too. The original Hitchhiker, not the remake, the original Hitchhiker. That was really, really good. Dark Side TV series. I'm surprised you didn't mention Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the Crypt was awesome. Definitely my childhood right there. Castellar says The Gate with Brad Dourif. Oh, okay, gotcha. That's another one you put me on to. I'm gonna have to check that out. I mean, like I said, there's so much. You know what I mean? There's just so much stuff. You know what I mean? That's what you gotta love about horror. Is just there's just such a library of stuff that even if you haven't watched it, you can just go back and watch it. You know what I mean? And that's what this is why I love having these type of conversation with you guys, because there's stuff that I could put you guys on to, and there's stuff you guys can put me on to. It goes both ways. And I love that. I love that aspect of these conversations, you guys. Like honestly, don't ever feel afraid to put me onto anything new, because there's a lot of stuff new out there that that might be older to you that will be new to me that I haven't got to see. So don't ever be afraid to let me know what's up, with some movies that possibly I potentially haven't seen yet. Freddy's Nightmares is now on Tubi. Yeah, I did see that. I have Tubi. I did see that. Classic. Love Freddy's Nightmares. They were really, really good. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Freddy was the first one to get his own TV series. Yeah. He's the first one that made it actually reputable in terms of a horror icon, being made for TV because they didn't water him down. That is for sure. That is for sure. I liked Freddy's Nightmares. Just like we talked about with Chucky. They did not water Freddy down for TV at all. So I really like those Freddy's Nightmares, and I'm glad they're definitely on Tubi. I love going back and watching old school stuff, guys. I do. I'm a sucker for the old school. I am. Castellar says Out of the Dark, 1989 is a killer clown film. I've actually watched that, Castellar, and that is a good killer clown film. I like that killer clown film. That is a good one. Rose Red is a good Stephen King miniseries. That it is, Castellar. That it is. That it is. All right, guys. So we're kind of done talking about Freddy at this point and stuff. Let's move on to talking about Candyman. Now, obviously we know, we got the Candyman sequel / reboot last year, and I don't know how you guys felt about it. I actually enjoyed it. On first look, I kind of didn't, but then when I went back and watched it, I actually enjoyed it a lot more than when I initially first watched it. And I thought they did a good job. But I will say this, was it perfect? No, because they made it too obvious what direction they were going in from the trailers. When I saw the trailers, I automatically knew this is the kid that is from the original Candyman who was pulled out of the fire. And now the story is going to be centered around him. And possibly he's going to be Candyman. And when I watched it and I saw that's how it's played out, I was disappointed with that because I was really hoping that they would give me some misdirection, and they didn't. They made it very plain and simple with their intentions from the trailer. And anytime you can almost guess how the movie's going to play out by watching the trailer. That is never really good, in my opinion. It's never really good when you can watch a trailer. When you can watch a trailer and sit there and say, I know how this movie's going to play out. I know what's going to happen before the movie even hits theaters or streaming. And that's how I felt about Candyman, the reboot or the sequel, whatever you want to call it. From the moment I heard in the trailer him say, "Oh, I feel connected to this place," I was like, "That's the kid from The Fire." Like, and I just automatically knew, "Yup, this is the kid from The Fire." They're going to revolve this story around him, but they're going to end up transforming him into Candyman because that's obviously what he was supposed to be in the original. That he was supposed to be the sacrifice. He was supposed to be Candyman's second coming. That was Candyman's choice to lead on his legacy. And that's exactly what they did. And though I enjoyed the movie in terms of kills, etc., from a storyline aspect, it's not like it was a bad story. It was just too predictable. Entirely too predictable. Entirely too predictable. I was really hoping they was going to give us misdirection, and they didn't. Very disappointed in that aspect of the new Candyman, that everything was so predictable. From the time you saw the trailer, from the time the movie hit. You know, like, it just, personally, I just was really disappointed with that. I really was hoping they was going to go in a different direction, but they gave us exactly what I thought they would give us. Now, was it executed poorly? No, it wasn't that it was executed poorly. It just didn't move the needle in terms of shock value. And then the whole ending with the aging of Tony Todd, or putting the computerized version when he was younger. I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I felt like you should, for all that, you should have just had Tony Todd come back as Candyman, in my opinion. You should have just had him come back as Candyman. Oh, Steven, I'm sorry if I just spoiled it a little bit for you, buddy. I'm sorry. That's my fault. Honestly. You know what I mean? If I spoiled some of the details. You know what I mean, and stuff. But that's, like I said, it was good. It was good. Was it great? No. I expected it to be great, and I didn't get what I expected. It was good, though. It was solid. A lot of people was like, "Oh, I didn't like it. It was boring." Sometimes storytelling is a little bit boring, guys. That's just how it goes. If you want to understand, certain things, sometimes you got to let it mature before we get to the action. And that's kind of, I feel, what Candyman did. But I did like the kills. You know, I like the atmosphere, the setting, the scenery, the music, the score was great. You know what I mean? I just entirely too predictable from a storyline standpoint. Now, do I think we will get a sequel? I do. I do think, especially because it made good money at the box office. You know what I mean? I do think we will get a sequel. And I am interested to see, now that we basically got a new Candyman, what direction they're going to take. And given how the ending is, it's going to be interesting to see if his girlfriend, who was his girlfriend anyway, or his fiance, what direction they take her character, if they follow her, if they pick up, from the events of the new Candyman. You know what I mean? I do think we are going to get a sequel to Candyman, and I do expect them to pick up from the events of this new Candyman. If they don't and go in a whole new direction, I'm not against that. I just feel like that you would be missing an opportunity. I will say that. But the new Candyman, I enjoyed it. It was good for the most part. Was it great? No, but I enjoyed it. Definitely, for sure. Definitely enjoyed it. Castellar. says Candyman with Virginia Madsen is terrific. Absolutely. Nothing tops nothing. None of the Candyman movies top the original, bar none. Best Candyman movie made was the original. The director Bernard Rose hypnotized Madsen for a performance. Yep. And those bees that were in Tony Todd's mouth were actual bees, not props or nothing. They just de-stung them. They basically, got the stingers out of them and stuff. But those were actual bees crawling and flying out of Tony Todd's mouth. Crazy. If I'm not mistaken, he said he did eat a couple of them because, they flew down in his respiratory, obviously, and stuff like that. So kudos to Tony Todd for being a G and, toughing through that for sure. But yes. All right, Castellar says the new Candyman should reintroduce the character of the young kid, Jake, being now an adult politician that believed in the Candyman, trying to stop the Candyman incidents from spreading around the city. It's not a bad idea. It's not. That's not a bad idea at all. I just wonder if that were to be the case, if they were to do a sequel to this new reboot, you know what I mean? I just wonder, are you going to have the girl who played, the new Candyman's girlfriend in it? Because I feel like she has to be in it because she lived. You know what I mean? She has to be in it. If she's not, I kind of feel like you're it's nothing wrong with going in a new direction, but you're kind of leaving a story untold and opened. And now, can you eventually revisit that? Yeah, absolutely. I just don't know if that would be best suited if you're trying to do a sequel, because then I kind of would think you are confusing your audience as to what they're watching, because they're going in and expecting one thing, but then getting an entirely different thing. Castellar Garcia says, Malignant scene in prison was bloodier than Mortal Kombat. Malignant was amazing. Love Malignant. Jack Stannis and Craven Something Scary had a watch party. Castellar. I don't know if you were there that night. In the stream, in the chat box, but they had a watch party, and that was the first time me watching that movie, and that was fantastic. I love that movie, and that is a really, really good movie. Really, really good movie. Highly entertaining. That scene in the police station, wow. That was some gnarly shit. And I loved it. The way he took everybody out in the police station and then threw the chair at the one, like, that scene was just incredible. The camera work, everything. It was incredible. Incredible. Love Malignant. Malignant got many of the ideas from the Dark Half Stephen King story, which was adapted into a film by George Romero in the 90s. Oh, I did not know that, Castellar. Thank you for the educational. Honestly. Well, that was some good ideas that they ripped from Stephen King's Dark Half and adopted it into a film by George Romero. I think that was a good job. They did a damn good job. A really good job. That movie is fantastic. Love Malignant. Love Malignant a lot. Really good movie. All right, guys, we're going to move off Candyman now. We're going to start talking about a little bit of Ghostface. We're going to talk about Ghostface next, and then we're going to move on to Jason, and then after Jason, it will be the end of the stream. But we're going to go here for probably another, I want to say arguably 20, to 30 minutes. We probably give each of these characters 10 to 15 minutes worth of run before I hop off the stream here and stuff. But yes, Ghostface. So, but before we move on, Castellar says the girlfriend of Candyman meets Jake, and she explains what happened to her, and this creates for her to support the Candyman while Jake wants to stop it. That could work. That really could work because she might still have feelings for him, obviously, for Candyman. You know what I mean? She might still see him as, her fiance, and she might feel like there's a way she can save him from this curse. You know what I mean? Or she might just embrace who he is and who he has now become. And like you said, decides, to support the Candyman. You know what I mean? Which could set up her obviously being confrontational with Jake. I think that makes a lot of sense, in all honesty. I do. You know what I mean? That would make sense, especially if, we get the fact that the girlfriend isn't ready to let go of the fact that her guy is like the new Candyman, and he's cursed now, and he's not what he once was. That could be a very interesting and different dynamic, as opposed to the original, basically the original Candyman. He wanted her to be, he wanted Virginia Madsen's character to be his victim. He wanted her to be with him. So that's not out of the realm of possibility if they go in that direction. As to this time around, the girl that Candyman wants to obviously, be involved with him and wants to be his quote unquote victim in his sacrifice. That would not be surprising if they went in that direction, as using this new Candyman's girlfriend as such. I'm actually on board with that idea. I think that would make a lot of sense. I do. And it would be a nice twist, because you would almost expect this girlfriend to want to break up with Candyman and not be involved with Candyman and try to get as far away from him as possible. But if she still has feelings for the guy underneath Candyman, the guy that she knew to be her fiance, that could be a very interesting way. You can get her to gain sympathy for Candyman and want to, still be a part of his life and help him. Like you said, that's definitely a good idea. That's not a bad idea for a sequel for Candyman at all. I like that. I like that a lot. That's how you can get different, and it's how you can keep, that's how you can keep her involved in the new movie and keep her character fresh and keep her character, relevant. I really like that. Really like that a lot. Good stuff, Castellan. Okay. Now, once again, like I said, now we're going to move on to Ghostface. And Castellar says, I had sent an outline of Scream to Radio Silence that did Scream and LinkedIn of the first 2 acts. Nice. Nice, Castellar. So I'm going to assume, Castellar, that you do some filming, like film writing and stuff like that. I'm going to assume that. Let me know if I'm correct. That's cool stuff, man. It's real good stuff. And if I am right that you like to do writing and stuff like that, script writing and stuff for movies or whatever, what was your pitch to Radio Silence for the first 2 acts? I'm interested to see what those were. Okay, but let's talk about Ghostface. So as we all know, Ghostface is once again relevant in the horror community. Scream 5, came out back in January. Had a lot of success to the point we're already getting a Scream 2 next year, March 31st, 2023. I love this character. I have to say, honestly, this character probably is my second favorite behind Michael Myers. Um, I love everything about this character. I love the whodunit aspect behind this character. I love the voice changer aspect to this character. When I first, watched Scream '96, the voice changer, the voice is what really hooked me. The phone calls and the voice is what really hooked me to this character. And man, I think this character is just such a good character. Like for like, in all honesty, like it always reminded me of that character that it's like a character that you can prank your friends with, but it's like serious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the type of costume that you would run up on somebody with just to scare them for shits and giggles, but they actually turned it into something that you can feel. You know what I mean? Definitely, like they made you fear this costume. You know what I mean? So I love this character. I love the fact that anybody can be Ghostface. That's the biggest thing for me, is that anybody can be Ghostface. Now, obviously for Scream 6, you know what I mean? We have a lot of interesting developments that I think can be taking place. I think we will have a lot of characters from past make appearances, such as Kirby Reed and Hank Loomis. Um, I also, from recent, news and findings, I do believe that this movie will be based in New York City and obviously centered around Gil Weather. What I do find interesting is, will this movie be solely based in New York, or will we get some backdrop to Woodsboro as well? You know what I mean? I want to know if if they're going to shoot the entire movie in New York City, but will we take some scenes back to Woodsboro? I'm very interested to see if that can happen. And I would like to see that happen, because I kind of feel like if Christina Carpenter's character is going to be introduced, are you really going to have her follow Sam and Tara to New York to help Gail if that is the case? I can't see that happening. I feel like we might get a back scene, like a scene to where they go back to Woodsboro and introduce Christina Carpenter, etc. I can't see Christina Carpenter following Tara to college or going to New York City with them to help Gail Weathers. I just can't. I can't see that happening. So I think that majority of the movie is going to be based in New York. However, I do think we will get some scenes that cut back to Woodsboro as well. All right, let's check out some of these comments. Okay, Castellar says, number one, Samantha Carpenter is dreaming that she has been killed by someone in a Ghostface costume while being urged by Billy Loomis to become the new Ghostface and kill her entire family. I like that. That was a good one. That was a really good one. I like that. If that was one of the drafts you sent to Radio Silence. That would have been nice. That would have been a nice little opening scene, or whatever you wanted to put that in. I like that. Maybe we can get that in Scream 6. Where she's dreaming, that somebody came to kill her in a Ghostface, but Billy's urging her to become the new Ghostface and kill her entire family. That's something that they can implement in 6, and I like that idea, Castellar, a lot. Castellar says this is one of many nightmares. Other nightmares revolve upon Samantha killing her own mother. Another nightmare is that she becomes locked up in a mental institution. Man, you touch on some valid you touch on some things here that I'm going to end up talking about, Castellar. Excuse me. It's very interesting. And then two, Sam's mother is having a hard time dealing with her daughter's nightmares, so she signs her up for therapy. Sam goes to therapy with her mother and her younger sister. Screw down here. Tara Carpenter. That wouldn't have been bad for an opening scene. or like leading into after the events of the opening scene, like introducing Samantha. That wouldn't be bad. Neither one of these would be bad introducing Samantha Carpenter at all. At all. That would have been great introductions for her character. But that first one, man, that first one, I really like that. And I think that that's something that we could possibly see in Scream 6. You know what I mean? Samantha's dreaming that somebody in a Ghostface costume is killing her, but then yet on one end, she has Billy urging her. What if the dream, right? So, what if the dream is her being killed by someone in a Ghostface costume, but when they take the mask off, it's Samantha? And then that's when we hear the visions. I mean, hear Billy telling her to become the new Ghostface and give in and kill her family. What do you think about that, man? I think that idea you have with the implement and what I just put into it would really be something we could see in Scream 6. I could see that happening in a dream sequence where she's dreaming that somebody's killing her in a Ghostface costume. They take the mask off and it's her. That would be badass. That would be. Because, Castellar, if you watch any of my videos, then I think you know that I think Samantha's already turned to the dark side and that she's just playing us all, in all honesty. And if you haven't watched any of my videos, then I will say this. I'll tell you what I feel the Samantha Carpenter character is. She is a reverse of what Billy Loomis was in Scream 96. Billy was portrayed as the killer. They shoved it down our throats that it was Billy Loomis who was the killer as a red herring. And what did we find out? That Billy was actually the killer. He wasn't a red herring at all. But they shoved it down our throats that he was a red herring. She is the complete opposite because they are shoving it down our throats that no, Samantha is the final girl, not Tara. She's the final girl. She's the new Cindy Prescott. But eventually, we will find out that she's been playing us all along, and she's one of two masterminds in this new Scream trilogy, and that Tara is actually the real final girl. That's what I feel about Samantha Carpenter's character. But I really, really like that first one, Castellar. Man, that's a hell of an idea. And I think, in my opinion, you should send that idea back to Radio Silence for Scream 6 and sprinkle in that, you know, when this Ghostface is killing her, they take the mask off and it's Samantha who's obviously killing herself. And then you hear Billy telling her, give in, kill your family, kill your entire family, give in, join the dark side. I think that would be so cool of an idea for you to pitch. And I like that. I like that a lot, man. That was some good stuff. Really good stuff, Castellar. Okay, let's look at some more comments. The other members of the therapy group are the other survivors of Ghostface killings are Chad Meeks Martin and his twin sister Mindy Meeks Martin. That could work for sure. That definitely could work for sure. That would tie in very, very well. The survivor support group is headed by Kirby Reed, who survived Scream 4. I see a lot of Scream fans want that. They want to see Kirby either as a professor at the college that supposedly Tara's going to be going to, or they want her as somebody who could be like this self-help guru, therapist, etc. I've seen that a lot, and that is not a bad idea at all to cast Kirby Reed as that type of character, in my opinion. I'd be on board with that for sure. Kirby Reed encourages the survivors to arm themselves so they can defend themselves when they are attacked. Each of the sessions would be recorded. That obviously would be smart. that I would assume they would want it. They should want to, arm themselves, especially going up against Ghostface again. That would make some sense. Castellar says Sam's stepfather is killed while driving to Woodsboro while stopping at a gas station. That is interesting. Now, Castellar, let me ask you this. If Sam's stepfather is killed while driving, while at a gas station, that would obviously kind of mirror Halloween 2018. My thing is, how would Ghostface know, what gas station he's exactly stopping at? That would be my only faux pas with that. Like, how would Ghostface know he's stopping at that gas station? Other than you would have to make it to where Ghostface is maybe driving behind, following behind, her stepfather. And then when he obviously stops at this gas station, Ghostface parks and then obviously proceeds to follow him in and then, kills him. That could work too. Do I think that could be a little Yeah, because I don't think that, whoever this Ghostface killer is, I don't think they would. I think they would want to savor the stepfather coming back to reunite with Tara and Sam. I think they would let that play out as opposed to just getting rid of him before getting to the girls. I mean, but that's not a bad idea though. It would be a nice reference to Halloween 2018. Castellar Garcia says the killer guts him in the back of a gas station where it is dark near the bathrooms. His throat is slit by Ghostface with a red color mask. Ooh. Woodsboro is close to celebrating Halloween. Oh, okay. So that would explain the red colored mask. I understand because it is getting close to Halloween. You know what I mean? So, I can get that. I just think that would piss a lot of fans off if they would change the color of the OG mask. I do. I think that would make a lot of people mad. You know what I mean? I don't know. Would it make sense because of Halloween being right around the corner? Absolutely. It makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? But I just don't know how fans would feel about one of the killers having a red Ghostface mask. I don't know. You've seen the reaction that a lot of people had when they thought that the metal Ghostface mask was going to be used in Scream 5 as the actual mask. A lot of people gave that some bad feedback. So I don't know how people would feel about a red Ghostface mask. Sam's stepfather's death makes the headline news, and this attracts the attention of Gale Weathers. A drone is seen passing by onto the scene. Now, see, I like that aspect of it, that if Samantha's Carpenter's stepfather is killed before obviously getting back to Woodsboro, that it attracts, the news, headline news, and attracts Gale Weathers. I actually like that idea. You know what I mean? I just am a little on the fence about the whole kill scene. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I'm a little on the fence about. You know what I mean? But that whole stepfather being killed before, he gets to Samantha and Tara and it making headlines and Gale sees it, that would make perfect sense, especially to introduce and lead into Gale's character for Scream 6. You know what I mean? Especially if they're not planning on giving Sam and Tara's dad and Sam's stepdad a true story arc and true runtime, that could work. That definitely could work. Steven said, I'll be right back. Haha. No. Caught that. I caught that last second. Good stuff, Steven. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick before we move on to the rest of these comments. right, guys, thank you for your patience. All right, we're back. So let's get back to these comments. Talking some Ghostface. Love the interaction, guys. Honestly, thank you guys for stopping in the chat and hanging out with your boy and talking some slashers. I love it. I love our engagement, you guys. Love it. I love having these conversations with you guys, honestly. Okay, so we pick back up with Castellar. Says the new Scream should be a survival therapy group versus more than 2 Ghostface killers. That's, I don't want to say that it should be. That's not a bad direction to go in. I will say this. I do think we are going to get more than 2 Ghostface killers in Scream 6. I think we're at least going to get 3 with the possibility of 4. But I'm going to hang on to 3 as, I'm going to go with 3. Possibly 4, but I'm going to stick with 3. I do agree that we could see more than 2 Ghostface killers in this new Scream 6 movie. And someone in costume killing Ghostface killers. Ooh, that'd be something different. That'd be something different. I'll be honest, what I don't want them to do is get away from the foundation that they set in 5, which was the foundation of Samantha Carpenter, Tara Carpenter, Mindy Meeks Martin, and Chad Martin. I don't want them to get away from those 4 characters at all. I want their character development to expand, if anything. I have some very deep theories as to what I think this Scream trilogy is going to be. And in order for it to be how I envision it and how I think it is actually playing out, certain things cannot happen. Like the red Ghostface mask. Kind of like, someone in costume killing Ghostface killers. That can't happen the way that I'm seeing in this new Scream trilogy. That those things just can't happen, in my opinion. And if it does happen, in my opinion, it will kind of take some credibility off of it. You know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong, with having fresh ideas and sharing different ideas that would be outside of the box. That would be something that, probably we don't ever really think about. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with being different. Being different is so clutch, especially in these type of movies, in this type of environment. Castellar says Gail has to be kidnapped by the end of the film. That's interesting, Castellar. See, how I envision the ending of this film going is this. I think that Gail will die. I think she will be one of the death. I think she will be one of the ones to die, maybe towards the end, if not the final act. And how I see this playing out, and I could be wrong, this is just speculation on my end. How I envision this playing out, if we're going to get 3 Ghostface killers, I think we're going to get 2 revealed at the college or New York, wherever this is going to be taking place mainly. But then, as a surprise, in the end, they cut to Woodsboro and Christina Carpenter's house, and the 3rd killer is revealed by killing off Christina Carpenter and ending the movie on a cliffhanger. That's how I envision this new Scream 6 playing out. And in all honesty, I would really like that for that to be the case. I think if you're going to reveal 3 killers, you have to do it in a special way. You can't just do it all in one shot and just say, oh, here's 3 killers, guys. Hey, we added 1 more. I feel like it has to be done so special. It has to be done in a special manner because we're going into new territory. We're doing something that we haven't done, which is have 3 killers killing at the same time on screen. The only difference is that we're going to get 2 revealed and 1 is not going to be revealed at the dead end. And that will end the movie on a cliffhanger, Christina Carpenter being killed, and now we know for sure there's a third Ghostface out there, and boom, we cut the credits, and now we're heading to the seventh one. I mean, that's, in my opinion, how I see this new Scream trilogy, this new Scream 6 playing out as well. Like, I just feel like from a storyline aspect and from the foundation that they built, you know what I mean, in Scream 5, that would be a very, very intriguing and very interesting way to end Scream 6. You have two killer reveals. Whoever survives, survives. Whoever dies, dies. But then, at the end, just when you think it's the end of the movie, you do a surprise ending to where we shoot over to Christina Carpenter's character at home. She gets the call from good old Roger L., and then we kill her off. Now we know we have three killers, and now the movie ends on a cliffhanger, and now we know we're getting a seventh Scream, and that there's another killer out there. I think that's how it's going to go, and I would love for it to go that way because I think it makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. Okay, so let's look at some of these comments. Because he said Gail has to be kidnapped by the end of the film. I feel like Gail is going to die in Scream 6. And in all honesty, if you watched my video where I've said, Castellar, that I felt that the new Scream trilogy is a anthology series for the OG3, then you'll know that I think, much like in Scream 5, Scream 6 will be around Gail's story, and then she will get killed. Much like doing Scream 5. We got the backdrop story on Dewey, where he's at now, what he's been up to, etc. Then they killed him off. I see Gail Weathers suffering the same fate. We're going to focus on Gail Weathers. The story, some of the backstory is going to be about Gail Weathers. Then she's going to get killed off. That's my opinion. Castellar Garcia says when they think that all of the Ghostface have been killed, the Ghostface killers have masks with different colors. See, this is just me speaking personally, Castellar. I mean, I wouldn't like that at all. I would be so pissed off. Like, I don't want the Ghostface killers to look like a bag of fucking Skittles, my man. I'm sorry, I just don't. You know what I mean? I want it to be authentic and I want it to be original. You got to keep the pale white Ghostface mask. You can't give me no colors, man. Can't give me no colors. I just like I said with Freddy Krueger and the Dream World, storyline that you want the movie to be based inside the Dream World. I personally think that for Ghostface killers that have different colors in different colored masks, that you would have to save that for a fan film type creation. I just don't think that for a box office, the studio wouldn't allow that, in my opinion. They wouldn't allow it. Everybody thought the metal Ghostface mask was going to be one of the masks, like the main mask in Scream 5, and we saw they just used it as like a prop for the stab scene, for the scene in Stab 5. That's it. You know what I mean? So, Ghostface having different colors, looking like a bag of Skittles, I'm not on board for that one, man. But hey, anything could happen. You know what I mean? That's just me speaking my opinion, Castellar. So, you know what I mean? That's just me giving you my take on that, buddy. Not trying to like shit on your idea or anything. Just me personally, I just don't think that could work. Ghostface with different colors, nah. I don't think. I think a lot of people would be upset with that, especially the casual Scream fans. I don't think they'd be too happy. Steven says, a girlfriend for every environment. Right? Hell yeah. I know that's right. Every seasonal. That's right, Steven. Every seasonal. Summer, winter, spring, fall. Hell, and that's got to be their names too. Wouldn't that be something? If you had a girlfriend for each season and their names were the name of the seasons. That'd be some crazy shit. That'd be so wild. Castellar says Kirby is at her kickboxing class and sees the death of Sam's stepfather and decided to arm the group. And Kirby gets all the kids together at her home and puts a box in the middle of the room. They are all sitting in a round table, and Kirby tells them that after she picks their name from a bowl, each one of them will pick a weapon from the box to arm themselves. Kirby says that this is a mutual trust exercise. That's a hell of a mutual trust exercise. Oh, yeah. I'm getting you guys together to arm up and go hunt some fucking Ghostface killers down. But hey, by the way, this is just a mutual trust exercise. That's funny as shit. Oh, man, that would be hilarious. I'd laugh at that. Kessler says when she calls out one of their names, they will all turn around, including her, to pick a weapon from the box, and each of them to conceal the weapon in their cars once they pick them. Interesting. That's interesting for sure, Castellar. Interesting stuff, man. I personally, I just would rather, if Kirby's going to do all that and arm the crew, I don't want all this, box sitting in the middle of the room and, stuff like that. I want it to be plain and simple. Listen, we could be under attack. We could be targets. Arm yourself. Here goes some guns. Here goes some knives. Simple. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, buddy. I don't want all the extra theatrics with it. Craven, something scary. My man, what's going on, Craven? What's up, Steven, man? How you doing tonight, my friend? Hey, man, hope you're having a great night. I am, buddy. Not too bad. Not too shabby over here. I hope you are as well. Wanted to say hello before I start editing my next video. Hey, Steven, man, you know it, man. I greatly appreciate your support, buddy. Greatly appreciate your support and got love for you, man. Honestly. I appreciate you for stopping by the stream and showing some more love and support, my guy. Greatly appreciate it. And for sure, I will be, after the stream, keeping my eyes peeled for your next video. I will be on high alert for that, my man. Got love for my man Craven Something Scary. And anybody who's watching the stream that isn't a part of the channel or just new to the channel or that ends up watching a replay of the stream, and if you end up being a new subscriber, etc., go check out Craven Something Scary's channel. You guys, awesome content creator. He is the reason why I started doing these type of videos myself. You know what I mean? He motivated me to want to join the discussion in the horror community. So if you guys are new to the channel, if you guys are new to this community, etc., go check out Craven Something Scary, guys. He's awesome. He's a lot of awesome content. Really awesome guy. Hell, I didn't even put my damn scrolling banner up for this. Might as well for the last few minutes. Totally forgot about that. Usually I'm on point with stuff like this. That's all right, though. Mistakes happen. All right, so Castellar says Sam picks a gun, Tara picks a taser, Mandy picks an urban combat baton. Oh man. Castellar. An urban combat baton, and Chad picks the streetwise barbarian baton. Let me say that without skipping out and laughing. Mindy picks an urban combat baton, and Chad picks the streetwise barbarian stun baton. Interesting. Castellar also says no one picks the switchblades, the baseball bat, or the pepper spray. Kirby has a security system that recorded everything that happened. A drone is seen flying over the area. Interesting. Man, what's up with that drone? That drone just keeps, popping up. I wonder what's going on with this. Tara and Sam are at the funeral, and everyone mourns the death in the family. Someone is recording all of the people at the funeral from the Audi, from far away without being detected. Interesting. Interesting for real. I would like to think though, if they're for all that, if they're recording from far away, why would they need to if they have a drone? If I'm not mistaken, can't you like you can record like on a drone? If I'm not mistaken, so if they are recording them at the funeral, why would they need to stand from far away? You know what I mean, to record if they can just fly the drone over their head and keep an eye on them that way. But nonetheless, these are definitely interesting theories that you have, Castlear. And I like some of them. Some of them I do think are could be a little on the fence. But hey, this what we have these discussions for. That's what we have these theories for, to share our opinions and to share our crazy ass thoughts. You know what I mean? So don't think I'm knocking you, buddy. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you my take on what I think other people's perception of that might be. Okay. So Castle also says a guard from the place where Sam and Tara take their group therapies is killed while making the rounds at night outside of the property. That could work. Castle also says the group has the keys to the building. The guard is killed by a Ghostface with a purple mask color. See, again, see, Castlear, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm just not on board with the whole color scheme Ghostface mask. And I don't think the casual or the new age fans who's been brought in thanks to Scream 5, I don't think they'd be on board with that either. I mean, it's just I don't know. And as far as like the group thing going, like I'm not saying that wouldn't be cool to see Kirby Reed being like a therapist, etc. However, I don't want like Sam and them to have keys to the building or anything like that. You know what I mean? I think that's doing a little bit too much. You know what I mean? I'd rather them just keep it at scenes where they're all having the group meetings and all trying to figure out who's doing this, why they're doing this, and what they can do to try to help each other try to stop it. You know, I don't want anything going over the top. I feel like the colored masks and stuff like that would be really going over the top, in my opinion. Steven says hashtag killer train Craven. I know that's right, man. Gotta love Craven, Steven, man. He's such an awesome person, man. Honestly, he's a great guy. Really great guy. Sam tells Tara and the twins to stay in their homes armed and locked away and to not go into the Halloween costume party at high school. That's not impossible, man. It's not impossible at all. I mean, like I said, I just feel like with this new Scream 6, I want them to stay on course with the foundation that they have already built. I don't want them to go above and beyond trying to cater too much to our fan expectations. Like, I get it. A lot of us want to see Kirby Reed back, but I want to see that character back in the right element and in the right type of character. I mean, could a therapist be a good character? Yeah, absolutely. And then it's not out of the question. I just don't want the over top stuff. You know what I mean? I want them to keep it simple if she's going to be a therapist. If Chad, Mindy, Samantha, and Tara are on her group, I just want it to basically be about group and thoughts and, opinions. I don't want it to be this whole session that if they have to arm themselves, Kirby's going to pick a name and this is what weapon you get, etc., etc. You know what I mean? I just think that is a little too cheesy, in my opinion. Just a little too cheesy. But Kirby Reed as a therapist, etc., I'm on board for that, no doubt. Steven says I misstepped. Craven something scary. As Steven hashtag Killer Train Craven. LOL, love it. Yes, gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Castle Garcia says 2 or more killers at the end besides the 2 that got killed. I like I said, buddy, I'd be on board for that. I do think that we are going to get 3 killers at the least. And at the end, I'd like them to end Scream 6 on a cliffhanger where they are going to kill Christina Carpenter. You know what I mean? And leave that on a cliffhanger for the next Scream, and while also telling us, hey, there is a 3rd / 4th killer, what have you. I would really like that. I would really like that a lot. I think we have the potential that in the end we are going to get a 3rd killer reveal. The mask just isn't going to come off. You know, they're just going to end it on that type of cliffhanger. And I would really like that. That's a way to be different. It's kind of like getting an opening kill as the ending kill. You know what I mean? Like, I would really like that. You know what I mean? But I will say this: I would hope that if they are going to kill Christina Carpenter's character in the end of 6, we get some really good screen time with her as well as some character development. I will say that. If they only allow her to be in this movie for a few scenes and then in the end they do like this surprise kill to shock us, you know what I mean, to show us that we do have more than 2 killers, I would be a little bit disappointed because I want more backstory and more dialogue from Christina Carpenter's character. Craven something scary says, I called the metal Ghostface mask as stab footage from the very first time I saw it. My first video about it, I shared it how I really felt. It was stab footage. So I was not surprised to see it in Stab Elm 8. Yeah, me neither. Me neither, Craven. Me neither. You know what I mean? As we know, a lot of people when that came out was really like, oh no, might be the new mask for Scream 5, etc. You know what I mean? But much like yourself, buddy, especially after watching your videos and stuff like that, watching that video, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, that seems more likely to be from stab footage. You know what I mean? I would really doubt that they would want different color masks in this new Scream trilogy just for the simple fact that would really upset a lot of OG fans and, you know, newer fans who watch Scream 5 and actually like it. Like I said, the multiple masks, I think the multiple colored masks would be a little over the top, in my opinion. But yes, Steven, absolutely. You know what I mean? Definitely with stab footage. Steven says, created something scary. Wait for it. 6 times got both Stevens in the chat. Ah, ain't that right? Isn't that right, man? Isn't that right? Got that right, man. I love it. Gotta love it, man. Craving something scary says, I shot him 6 times. Oh, thank you, man. That's so kind of you. Thrilled. You're over 100 subs. Keep climbing that mountain. I'm excited to see you continue and grow upward and onward, brother. Hey, man, I appreciate that support once again, my man. Appreciate you so much, man. No need to thank me, man, because like I said, you are awesome at what you do. And most important, the thing about you, Steven, what I love about you that I think that a lot of content creators find difficult for some reason is to support other content creators. You know what I mean? And that to me is what makes you stick out. You are so on board for people growing their channel, you know what I mean, and making their channel special as you want to make your channel special. You know what I mean? You are so supportive of that, and that to me really makes you stand out, man. And that's why I got a lot of love for you, my man. Because I'm the same type of person too, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with supporting people. So what if people do the same type of content you do? You know what I mean? The more the merrier. You know what I mean? That just makes it better for us. That gives us more people to engage with. And I feel like a lot of content creators, no matter whether you're doing sports or doing horror movies and stuff, a lot of content creators are just like, I don't, I'm not supporting that guy. It's just like, why? You know what I mean? Why? When in all honesty, we can help each other grow. You know what I mean? So again, Craven, Steven, you're awesome, man. You know what I mean? No need to thank me, man. Keep doing what you do, my man. Got a lot of love for you, buddy. Steven, LOL. Ghostface Fanatic, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Thanks for joining the chat, my friend. Talking a little bit about you here. Having some interesting conversations. Catching up on some of these chats here. Just got done with Fate stream. Nice, nice, nice. I'm going to have to check the replay on that, Ghostface Fanatic. Definitely. Craving something scary. I am editing a video while chilling with you guys. That's awesome, man. See, look at you. Mad skilled, multi-talented, man. Honestly, look at you. You go, my brother. You go. Love it. Love it. Ghostface Fanatic, man, the myth, the man, the legend. Craving something scary. Go at Ghostface Fanatic. That's great, man. That's awesome. Craven, thanks. I appreciate it. Ghostface Fanatic, keep your stream content coming, man. Love your passion. Let your passion shine. Absolutely, Ghostface. That's why I commented earlier, my man. Stop by, the channel to show you some love. Keep it coming, my man. Don't let nobody tell you can't do this, because you damn sure can. We can. We all can. In all honesty. I mean, keep that content coming, buddy. Steven. Oh, and also Craven. There's I'm gonna do a video after this stream. I want you to keep your eyes open for it, and it's Stu related. And it's very, very interesting, and it could be another aspect as to him actually being alive. Stay tuned for that, Craven. Stay tuned. Stu. Stay tuned, buddy. Honestly. I saw this thing earlier that really, really intrigued me, and I said I have to do a video after the live stream for sure. All right, now we talked enough about Ghostface, guys. We're gonna move on to Jason. You know what I mean? Jason, my precious, precious boy. Jason. Oh man. All right, gang. So, as we know, the Friday the 13th movie series is in limbo. If I'm not mistaken, they're still trying to Paramount or Sean Cunningham is still trying to get the rights. All this stuff, you know what I mean, etc. You know what I mean? It's going to be a long road, in my opinion, till we get Jason back on the screen. But let's not talk about, the bad side of it. Let's talk about the potential of it. What do you guys want to see from a new Friday the 13th movie? Now, Bob isn't here in the stream anymore. You know what I mean? He had to get some sleep. You know what I mean? He's not in the comment section anymore. He had to get some sleep. But me and Bob Hunt had some very interesting conversations about Friday the 13th, a remake / reboot, and what we would like to see. And I brought up the fact that I would like to see them, instead of bringing Jason back, why don't we bring Mrs. Voorhees back? But if you're not going to bring her back for the entirety of the movie, and if you're going to obviously bring Jason, in at some point, maybe redo the ending scene of Friday the 13th as the opening scene, where we see Mrs. Voorhees chasing Allison, etc., and she gets killed or whatever, but maybe see Jason in the woods somewhere watching, and then right when we think Allison, is going to survive, Jason comes out of nowhere and kills her, and then we cut, to, modern day, or, the events from after that. You know what I mean? I would really like to see Mrs. Voorhees on screen back in the Friday the 13th movie. And if not, like, as just the opening scene, why not just do the entire movie with Mrs. Voorhees? You know what I mean? Give that character the respect she deserves. She does not get hardly any credit, in my opinion. Everybody wants to talk about Jason, and I get it. He is the franchise. But people remember, without Mrs. Voorhees, there is no franchise. And that is the truth. Without Mrs. Voorhees, there is no Friday the 13th. You know what I mean? So that's my take. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I want to see Jason Voorhees back. But I would really be fascinated, and it'd be something different. It'd be a direction that we, as fans, I don't think we would think they would take. Let's revisit Mrs. Voorhees, guys. What say you guys? Castellar says, now for my Jason outline, as Jason returns. This deals is how Jason returns to his family home, which is now has new owners that are having friends over. Jason takes him out to reclaim him his home. It's not bad. It's not too bad. I will say this. I would really like them to delve into Jason's sister that we got in Jason Goes to Hell. I would like to see them go in that direction. You know what I mean? Let's talk about Jason's family. You know what I mean? Outside of his mother. Because in Jason Goes to Hell, we find out that he has a sister. And he has a niece. So I think that those are dynamics. Those are characters that should be thought of if we're going to do a new Friday the 13th movie. Because I've always wondered at the end of Jason Goes to Hell, well, now what happens to the niece? Like what happens, to the baby, etc. They just completely went away from that. And then, as you know, we got Jason X, etc. So I don't know, guys. I would really like that. From in my opinion, it's either two things I'd like to see. Bring Mrs. Voorhees back and center the movie entirely around her, or do the opening scene as a reenactment of 1980 of Friday the 13th, the original, or give me some backstory on his sister and where she has been. Why does she not get mentioned until Jason Goes to Hell? And then you find the book of, Dead or whatever that book was, except the voodoo ritual book that Mrs. Voorhees used, etc. That's another thing that I think could be interesting to play into a new Friday the 13th, is that if we get Mrs. Voorhees, will we see her using the voodoo book to resurrect Jason from the dead? There's so many directions that you could take a new Friday the 13th movie that I don't think a lot of people talk about. You know what I mean? But I want to know what you guys think. I mean, I'm gonna hit the comment section and see what you guys got. Ghostface Fanatic says, Craven, you're my inspiration, man. Oh, isn't he isn't he to us all? Honestly, man, he doesn't understand that he has honestly spawned a fucking generation of YouTube horror movie content creators. He just started some shit. He doesn't understand that. I don't think he does. You know what I mean? Like, Craven, if you're still in the stream, my man, like, honestly, you have started a movement, my friend. You have started a movement. I'm sorry. You watch Craven Something Scary's. If you watch Craven Something Scary's channel, if you don't have a horror movie channel, after watching his videos and watching his live streams, I assure you, you will have a horror movie channel by the end of watching his stream or one of his videos. I guarantee you. Ghostface Fanatic says, I got 21 subs so far. There you go, my man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Just keep pushing that content, my man. The more content, the more them subs will drive up. I'm about saying, I think Ghostface said you're up from a couple from earlier, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because I think when I commented on yours on your video, I think you were at 18, so I think you got 3 new subs. But I could be wrong, so correct me if I am wrong. But I'm pretty sure I saw that earlier. You had 18 and you're up to 21, which is awesome. Good shit, man. Craven something scary says, "Oh, thank you, man. That means so much." No, thank you, Craven. Honestly, man. Honestly. All the love for Craven in here, man. We got mad love for you, brother. Craven something scary says, "I shot him 6 times." What? Sweet. Okay, man. I'm all over that. I'll be looking for your video later. No doubt, buddy. No doubt. I saw this and I was just like, ooh. I said, ooh, Steven is going to love this. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. This dude getting plastic surgery for Castellar Garcia says Stu getting plastic surgery like the character from the Stepfather 3. That's great. Well, I mean, in all honesty, though, Castellar, that's not impossible, being that the TV did fall on his head. So I'm sure there would be some scarring. You know what I mean? So he would have to get some plastics. He might have to get some surgery and stuff. So that's not far fetched. Oh, this is interesting. Castellar, you say Elias Voorhees was supposed to appear in part 6. Elias Voorhees. Now, is that the sister's name or is that a brother? Because I've never heard of Elias Voorhees. Excuse me. Papa Voorhees. Oh, okay. Thank you, Stephen. Papa Voorhees. If I'm not mistaken, if that's what you're referring to, Stephen, is Elias Voorhees, is Papa Voorhees. That would be very, very interesting. That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't even think about that. Why, whatever happened to Jason's dad? Man, that would be good for a remake. I mean, like, good thing to bring up in a reboot, etc. Absolutely, yeah. Whatever happened to Jason's dad? Wow, that's fascinating. I can't believe that didn't hit me sooner. Honestly. Man, that's got my gears grinding a little bit. Yeah. Papa Voorhees. Yeah, let's get him back. Well, let's see where he's at. I would love to see what's up with that character. I mean, we never really got information on Papa Voorhees, really, in my opinion. Like, at least maybe I missed something. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I've never heard anything about him. So that would be very, very fascinating to involve that character. Honestly. Wow, good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Ghostface Fanatic says, I would love to see Tommy Jarvis back. The one from Jason's Lives. Yes, that would be epic to see a storyline from him and Jason. Now, Ghostface. I don't know if you've ever seen it. There is a fan film out there, a Jason fan film called Never, if I'm not mistaken, Never Hike Alone. And Tom Matthews and the guy who plays Deputy Rick from Jason Lives, the one who says, wherever the red dot goes, you bang. They're in it. They're in that fan film. Ghostface, I'm gonna try to actually try to send you the link right now. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to put that link in the chat. But yes, there's a fan film out there, a Jason fan film. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Never Hike Alone. It's either Never Hike Alone Part 1 or Never Hike Alone Part 2. I'll have to send you both links. But Tom Matthews and Rick, the deputy from Jason Lives, is in this fan film. They got Tom Matthews and the guy who plays Rick to be in the fan film. I thought that was fucking phenomenal. And while I'm talking about it, I want to give a special shout out to my buddy Ryan Hinkle. If you ever watched this video, if you're watching this stream, my man, and thank you for putting me on to that fan film. You're the reason I found out about that fan film. So Much love to you, brother. I appreciate you. But yeah, let me check that out right now, actually. See if I can find that. See if I can find that. Yes, Never Hike Alone. And it was a badass fan film. That was a really well done. The camera work in that fan film was top notch. I'll be honest. That looked like a box office movie. I'll be honest. All right, Never Hike Alone. All right, I'm going to share both fan films. I want to make sure these are the right ones. Or it actually might be Never Hike in the Snow. Never Hike Alone in the Snow. I'm just going to send you the link to all three. Copy. Copy. Yeah, it might even be the Ghost Cut. So I'm sending you the Ghost Cut, the original one, and then Never Hike Alone in the Snow. Actually, I think it is Never Hike Alone in the Snow. That's the one that has Tom Matthews and the detective from Jason Lives, the deputy from Jason Lives. But I'm gonna send you all three anyway. Okay, so here I'm putting it in the comment section now. That's right, Craven. Hashtag Stu Lives. Hashtag Bring Back the Stew Train. That's Bring Back the Stew Train. That's right. Okay, Ghostface. So you have watched Never Hike Alone fan film. Got you. Did you watch the one Never Hike Alone in the Snow? That was really good as well. Those fan films were really good Jason fan films. I really enjoyed the camera work that the director was using in those films. And the score. The score was wow. They did a really good job. I felt like it was like a movie theater version of Jason, honestly. I really enjoyed those fan films. Nice, nice, nice. See, I haven't seen Vengeance yet, Ghostface. So thank you for that, because now I'm gonna check. I'm gonna definitely take a look at that. Definitely take a look at Friday the 13th fan film Vengeance. I like that. I like those fan films. They do a really good job. Castellar Garcia says, "Watch the fan film Puppet Master Halloween." Nice. Oh yeah, I will definitely watch that. I love me some Puppet Master. Puppet Master, in my opinion, is another underrated one. But yeah, guys, I mean, that's my take on Jason. I feel like this character. I feel like I want to see this character back, no doubt about it. Absolutely. But I also want to see Mrs. Voorhees back. I feel like that character doesn't get enough credit. Without her, we don't get Friday the 13th. Like, we don't. You know what I mean? So I really hope that if they do a Friday the 13th movie, right? Let's say if we get a Friday the 13th movie that's going to have both Jason and Mrs. Voorhees in it. That's why I say I would be on board with the rehashing of the 1980 ending, where Mrs. Voorhees is chasing Allison, etc. And we get her getting her head cut off, but as opposed to Allison going in a boat and Jason, takes her underneath water, we see Allison trying to, leave, the campground, or, just after killing Mrs. Voorhees, just sitting there, whatever. And then Jason just comes out of nowhere and, obviously gets rid of her. And then we cut, to modern times or whatever we're going to cut to next. That's how I think that the Mrs. Voorhees angle, if you're not going to do a whole movie with her being the killer, that's how, in my opinion, that could work. As well as I would like to see, if they do bring Mrs. Voorhees' character back, I want to see her use that book or whatever to resurrect Jason. I think that would be a nice little tie-in, in all honesty. I think that would be a really, really, really good idea. A nice tie-in. It would make sense, especially because of Jason Goes to Hell. I mean, you brought that in that movie, so like, I almost expect that how obviously Jason is even alive is because basically Voodoo brought him back. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I would really like a Jason movie with both Mrs. Voorhees and Jason. And now that you guys brought up in the chat, let's get Papa Voorhees back in the fray too. Let's see where what has he been up to? Where has he been at? You know what I mean? Like, that's very fascinating. I can't believe that I honestly forgot the fact. I mean, because we never seen him on screen or anything. How could I forget the fact that Jason obviously had a dad? He had to have a dad to be conceived, obviously. So, I mean, I really hope we do get to see that character. You know what I mean? If they do another Friday the 13th movie, let's bring all three of them. Bring the sister too. I would like to see the whole backdrop on Jason's family. You know what I mean? Before the events of Jason drowning. What if before Jason drowning and stuff like that, what if they were a big happy family? And then when Jason drowned, the dad couldn't take it, the stress, and maybe Mrs. Voorhees went crazy, because of losing Jason, and maybe the dad just up and left and couldn't take it anymore, and he took Jason's sister with him. Those are very valid, those are very valid points, that you can make in a new Friday the 13th movie that I would be really interested in dabbling in and taking a gander into. I really think that there's some possibility, for those theories right there, especially from the standpoint of his dad and his sister. I want to know what happened to those characters. What happened to them in the events of Jason, drowning. Steven says a mother knows worse. I wish my mom was in the kitchen right now to see you see that comment, Steven. Oh man, I should tell her that. Hey, just let you know, a mother knows worse. She wasn't having it. Ghostface Fanatic says kill for mother. Yep, I know that's right. Ghostface Fanatic, you know what's funny about that line? Oh man. I don't know if you were in the stream. I think it was Monday when I was talking about my little cousin who was like obsessed with horror movies and obsessed with the Jason video game. And whenever Jason's mom on the video game says kill for mother, my little cousin responds as if he was Jason and says, yes, mother, on some Norman Bates shit. I fucking laugh every single time. I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. Fucking geeks me out, man. Geeks me out. Ghostface Fanatic on Mother's Day. Yo, Mother's no worse on Mother's Day at that. That's great. That is so great. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Steven says, just don't piss off your mother. Oh, I've been pissing her off for the better part of 30 plus years. And guess what? She ain't tired yet. She loves it. She loves it. She loves it. You want to know why? Because I'm literally my mom just in guy form, honestly. You know what I mean? I am. And she is the reason why I love horror movies. She started this. So, you know what I mean? Give a shout out and a clap for mother. You know what I mean? She's the reason why I'm here doing this today. You know what I mean? Well, why I love horror movies. You know, like I said, my man Craving Something Scary is the reason why I am here today in terms of having a platform and creating my own YouTube channel for this platform. Craven Something Scary says the most lethal Mother's Day gift ever. Hey, I like that. I know that's right, man. Mother says thank you, Craven. Love it, guys. Love it. Steven says a true champion. That's right. Ghostface Fanatic says, I did not like Jason Goes to Hell because he wasn't even in it. He was in the beginning and it gets blown up. I didn't like that because if it isn't Jason doing the killing, it don't matter to me. I understand that. I understand that, I understand that Ghostface, you know what I mean? And that's why I think that's why a lot of people have a hard time wanting Mrs. Voorhees, Miss Voorhees back, in a reboot, or if not for the whole movie in some type of capacity in a new Friday the 13th, because, everybody's so accustomed to Jason. He is the franchise, and I will admit that. But I just would like to see them dabble in Mrs. Voorhees' character because she doesn't get enough credit. And without her, the Friday the 13th franchise does not exist. So, what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I love Jason and all that. And I get it, if it's not Jason killing, it kind of somewhat doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it isn't Jason and if it isn't a Voorhees. I'll put it in that context. If it isn't a Voorhees, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So for me, I'll put it in that context. Kevin says, LOL. Yeah, man. Yeah, love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. Love it. All right, gang, I'm going to say we'll go another 5 minutes. I'll go another 5 minutes, 5 minutes before I head off the chat here because I do want to get that Stu Mocker video uploaded, and I want to get some other stuff done as well for the channel. So the next 5 minutes, you guys have a way. Any questions you want to ask me, go for it. The floor is yours, you guys. Ghostface Fanatic, I felt like Kane Hodder was wasted because he didn't get to do much in that movie. No, I agree. And you want to know what also bothers me about that Ghostface is that they definitely did waste Kane Hodder in that movie because, in my opinion, that was the most physically imposing Jason, like in terms of like Kane Hodder, that was the most physically imposing he's ever looked. Like that Jason Goes to Hell, Jason, big ass brain, the brains coming out of it, and you see his, the brains and stuff, and just how hawkish he looked. I'm not gonna lie, that version of Jason scared the fucking piss out of me. Honestly, that Jason was very, very scary. Like from the look of him, he looked scary. Like Kane looked like he was in peak physical condition at that point in time. Honestly, you know what I mean. Steven says, first horror film ever. Go. First horror film ever, The Exorcist. The one I would never turn the lights on. I would never keep the lights on off for it. Till this day, keeping lights on during The Exorcist. Craving Something Scary. Were you able to see any of the Scream films in the theater? My man, I've seen all of them in the theater. All of them. No, actually, you know what? I'm glad you asked that, Craven, because now I had to remind myself I am wrong. Man, I stand corrected. I'm getting all cocky and shit, man. Oh, God. Now I feel bad. Or whatever. I wasn't able to see the original Scream in theaters or whatever. I seen that first on VHS. Mom had got it on VHS. That's when I watched the first Scream. When I first watched it on VHS, that's when I obviously got hooked. And ever since then, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, and now Scream 5, I have seen in a movie theater. I mean, and that trend will continue growing as long as they continue making Scream films. I mean, definitely. So, about to say, yeah, 2 through 5 I got to see in the theaters. The original is the only one I didn't get to see in the theaters. And I'm kind of mad that I didn't go back. You know what I mean? Because when they dropped Scream 5 out here in PA about 2 weeks before they dropped Scream 5, they was having special screenings of Scream 96 out here in the movie theaters and stuff. And I wasn't able to go out and catch it. Because I mean, even though I've seen it, you know, obviously how many times, I would have went and purchased a ticket to go to the movie theater to watch Scream 1996 just to get that experience of what the original was like in the theaters. Hell, if they bring that back around for, you know, Scream 6, I would definitely make sure I get me a ticket the next time. Ghostface fanatic because of that. I love the look of Jason, but if he was in the whole movie, the movie would have got more love. But the fact that he wasn't felt wasted. No, I agree. I definitely agree, man. Steven says part 7 is goated. What do you mean by that, Steven? Are you talking about Friday the 13th, Steven? Or are you talking about a potential Scream 7? Craving something scary. Almost all of them. That's great, man. Yeah, almost all of them. Almost all of them. But like I said, buddy, if they end up having special screams for Scream 96 next year when Scream 6 is coming out, I'm definitely buying me a ticket and I'm getting that experience of Scream 96 in the movie theater for sure. Because I can only imagine what that experience was like, especially for the final act. Ghostface Fanatic says, I think that look of Jason should have been in the Jason that faced Freddy. In my opinion, yes. I was so disappointed we didn't get Kane Hodder in Freddy versus Jason. Was very disappointed. It says, but I'm gonna reread that. I think that look of Jason should have been the Jason that faced Freddy. In my opinion, that was the best part of the movie. Freddy's glove at the end. Yes, absolutely, I agree with that. That was. It's a shame it took them how many years to finally make that Freddy versus Jason. Steven says, "Let the Scary Movie 2 parody come from you." Good stuff, Steven. Good stuff. Good stuff. Steven says, S4, when I was younger, 2, 3, never, but 1, absolutely. Gotcha, buddy. Gotcha. Steven says, yeah, Friday the 13th. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Friday the 13th. He said it's goated. Part 7. Part 7 is the telekinesis one. Yeah, the girl with the telekinesis. I actually enjoyed that one a lot more now than what I did, growing up. I appreciate that one a lot more now. I will say that. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. Ghostface Fanatic says Freddy's glove at the end of the movie was the best part, and that's why I say that's Jason should have faced him. No, I agree with you. And just the fact that Kane Hodder should have never, he should have got that. He had that rightful place to earn that opportunity to go up against Freddy. As a fan of both, I always wanted to see, Freddy versus Jason, but Kane Hodder versus Robert Englund. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted. And unfortunately, we did not get that. I felt that Jason and Freddy versus Jason looked very, very slow and lethargic. I did not like that Jason. Nothing against Ken Kirshner, if that's who played him, if I'm not mistaken. Nothing against him. You know what I mean? Sure, he's a good guy. You know what I mean? But that version of Jason was too slow and lethargic for me. I wasn't impressed at all. And Freddy gave him the business in that movie. Craven says it was mind-blowing seeing Scream 1 when it first came out theaters. Wow, would never forget it. I'm sure, Craven, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Just I can even remember me being a kid, watching on VHS, and getting to the final act and seeing the final act and just being a kid, just being like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, there's two? It's so funny. You know what I mean? Like, I remember that just watching it on VHS, being that shocked and that enamored and being that hooked. So I can only imagine, and I agree that it was probably sincerely mind-blowing seeing it in the theater like that, man, honestly. Craven something scary says jaw dropped when Stu's reveal came on screen. Oh, I'm sure, man. Honestly, I can only imagine. Honestly, like I said, just me watching the VHSs. We're watching the VHS when Stu came in and was like, "Surprise, Cindy." When he did that, like I said, I have terrific Elephant Man memory for the most part. I can remember stuff from when I was like 2, 3 years old. It's wild. It's wicked. It's crazy. Honestly. So I can remember that when that scene came up and me being in the living room at my old apartment out at Pine Hill Farms here in York, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? When that came up and Stu's like, surprise, Cindy, just being like, like, what, Stu? You know what I mean? And that's what made me fall in love with that franchise, honestly. You know what I mean? Just the ending, the reveal, the whole whodunit aspect, the characters, everything. Wes Craven is a damn genius for sure, man. He's a genius. Was a genius. You know what I mean? For sure. Obviously got to speak about him in the past tense, unfortunately. But yes, Craven, I am sure, like, just from a movie theater perspective, you know what I mean? I'm guaranteeing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Craven, did everybody else's jaw drop too in the theater when Stu's reveal came up? If you can remember that, like, I don't know if you were like too busy and focused on your jaw being dropped, but did you get to like kind of look around the theater and see if everybody else had the same reaction as you? Because I'm all but certain that they probably did. Steven says Carrie versus Jason. Yeah. Carrie versus Jason. Oh man. She'd whoop up on him though, man, because you got to think she wouldn't have to move a muscle. She'd just have to look at him and then you'll just see Jason flying here, flying there. You know what I mean? Kind of like in Freddy versus Jason when Freddy was doing that with his finger and Jason was getting smashed around like a ping pong ball. You know what I mean? Ghostface Fanatics is like the look of him, and Jason Goes to Hell, but just was the best and was wasted. And it's unfortunate, because it could have been better. Oh no, absolutely, absolutely, Ghostface. I agree with that. Ghostface Fanatics also says I didn't like the Freddy versus Jason. Jason, that version wasn't for me either, man. Yeah, definitely, it just wasn't. It wasn't it, man. You know what I mean? Kane Hodder is the goat when it comes to Jason. Or none. He says, ha ha ha. Steve says, I was able to cope. I couldn't look away. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Ghostface Fanatics says, like, what I mean, if the Jason from Jason Goes to Hell faced Freddy, that would have been better with the mechanic outfit. Well, yeah, not even just that. I feel like they kind of did that Jason and Freddy versus Jason's character. Like, I feel like they kind of did him like dirty to a degree. Like, they just made him so robotic. And I feel like Kane Hodder, given that he's Kane Hodder and he would have had some type of creative stroke as to how he would want Jason's movements and mannerisms and character to be. I feel like if Kane Hodder would have been in that movie, it would have been so much different because he would have called his own shots. He wouldn't have let them say, hey, this is how, he wouldn't have let them say, hey, this is how Jason, we want you to move. This is how we want you to look this way. This is how we want you to do this. No, Kane, being that he's been doing Jason for so long and he was known, he would have had creative stroke that I think Ken Kirshner didn't have. You know what I mean? I credit that to more or less Ken Kirshner not having a creative stroke that Kane Hodder would have had, that you've seen Robert Englund have. You know what I mean? That's where I'm going with that. Steven says pinball never gets old. No, it doesn't. I mean, I tell you, Freddie gave him the business. You know what I mean? That movie, Freddie beat Jason up pretty good. He was dipping and moving and dodging on him and boxing him and everything. It was great. Maybe something scary says, I was locked into the screen so much that I don't remember other people's reactions. a hurricane could not have gotten my eyes off of what was happening on the screen. I know that's right, man. I know that's right. Oh, man. See, now I'm really hoping that next year when Scream 6 comes around, when it comes out, I'm hoping the theaters do what they did this year again and put Scream 96 back in the theaters for at least a week, because then I would definitely go grab my ticket and go get the movie theater experience, because I would love that. Even though I know what's going to happen, obviously, you watching the movie so many times, I would love to just get that experience and see how that felt. You know what I mean? Definitely, for sure. All right, gang. That is it for this stream of Slasher Sunday. I want to thank all of you guys who decided to come into the stream and show your support and bust it up with me and conversate about, these beautiful slasher human beings that we love to watch in films, etc. I greatly appreciate it, guys. You guys don't understand how much the support means to me, honestly. I love having these conversations with you guys. I love knowing the fact that there are people out there like myself who love to do this. You know what I mean? Who love to just hang out, meet new people, and let's talk about, these horror movies that we grew up watching and grew up loving, as well as these new horror movies, and sharing our ideas and opinions and stuff, and showcasing what we would do if we were to make a movie, such as a Halloween, as a Scream, etc. I love the engagement with you guys, honestly, and I greatly appreciate you guys showing up every single time, guys. Honestly, words again cannot describe how much it really means to me, guys. All right, gang. Once again, I'm out of here for tonight. This is I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. Please be sure, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. As well as hit that notification icon so you get all the latest content updates to the channel. As you know, I am your host, Marcus, guys, aka I Shot Him 6 Times, aka Ghost from Mars, as Carrie Crave Cinema likes to call me. I am out for the stream, guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I will catch you tomorrow for Shoot at Me Mondays. Catch you guys later, everyone. Oh, I don't know why it does that.